have to make this clear with anyone that's watching. It's that there's no such thing as a foolproof way to protect your home. For example, my house as well, people can break in, right? But the ideas of these locks and grills and all is to delay people from breaking in. So it gives you time to call the police. Right, you need time to call the police. Also, when it comes to your home, so just the same thing with double-story house and all good, anything there's time for you to run up. But in any family, in any home, you have to pick one room and make that the safe room. Basically, everything in that room has to be the most secure.
Welcome back to Yamcha Sessions. Bro, today I feel like we have a very, very unique guest on the podcast. Let me just read the credentials, because I find the credentials even more hardcore.
One of one.
Yeah. So, Dr. Shamir over here is a criminologist. Okay? You hold a PhD in criminology, right?
Yes, I do.
Right? Masters in criminal justice from University of Malaysia. So you're a certified crime prevention through environmental design. So it's a CPTED practitioner.
Yes.
But you are the only one in Southeast Asia accredited by the CPTED. Is this correct?
That's right.
That's wild, bro.
Thank you very much.
It sounds like it's either that you're so special or nobody wants to do your job.
No, it's just that they're very strict about giving out these credentials. Worldwide, there are about 21 of us only who have it.
No way.
Worldwide, yeah.
That's not even one classroom, bro.
No, thank you very much. But I was very fortunate as well. Last year, the Malaysian Book of Records actually gave me an award for being the first in Malaysia to have that.
Damn.
Yeah.
Congrats, man.
Thank you very much. Much.
I feel like you need some form of like inborn talent to be able to reach levels like that. Okay, so a bit of context. MJ discovered your stuff through TikTok, right? And he's been binge watching your stuff, sending it to us as well. And he's like, bro, we gotta get this guy on the podcast.
Well, I think what caught my eye was how easy you pick locks.
No,
Not just old locks, but new locks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And bend open doors and the shimmy of the glass.
So for those who didn't watch the videos before, haven't watched the video before, you'd be like, oh, how easy it is for me to break into this house. 5 seconds later, I'm in.
Yeah, so that is the gist of it, which is wild, right? To show how easy it is to break through. But we will go very deep into how you go into this career of sorts as well. Okay. Right. But I want to know how you got into it. So I'm not going to say where you studied and all this, so there's too much information, right? But how did you know you wanted to learn about criminology at least?
Well, earlier when you said, some things are just inborn. So maybe the skill of becoming a criminologist.
No lah. Wait. So are you saying when you were younger, it's like a very big thing in your area where you're growing up?
No lah. I didn't grow up in a high crime prone area.
Okay.
Like. But I think this relates to everyone. Like crime is one thing that we tend to glorify.
Yeah.
We tend to glorify crime. That's why, for example, let's just talk about a lot of criminals, right? Everybody has like cool nicknames, right?
Yeah.
Jack the Ripper, right?
Yeah.
Unibomber, right? Bentong Kali, Botak Chin, all cool nicknames, right? So we glorified them. So let me ask you all, right? Who caught these guys? Do you know the names of the police officers?
Oh, they never do.
Yeah, right.
Oh my
God. We don't, right?
Yeah.
But we know all the names of all these crooks. But that's the thing, right? We tend to glorify crime. That's why all of us like to watch Criminal Minds. We like to watch CSI, right? We love those stuff. So I think maybe the fact that I had a little bit of interest in crime, but I just didn't have the heart to commit it.
Okay.
So this was probably the way to legally commit crime. So like you see on my socials and all, I'm breaking into homes and all, right? But I'm not going to go to prison for it.
How did you learn how to like pick locks so fast though? It's quite wild, man.
So what I also would like to clarify, and which I normally clarify in the comments on my socials, is that it's not that I'm good at this. It's just that those are low quality locks.
Okay.
Right. So, of course, it takes a bit of skill to do it. You do have to practice a little bit. But to be fair, if they were very high quality locks, probably I would take much longer to do this. I probably need maybe about 15-20 minutes, give or take. I probably could. What?
15-20 minutes is not even that long.
No, it's long for crooks.
Okay.
If you want to break into homes, you have to do it in like 5-10 seconds, right? Anything longer than that is just a waste of time. So yeah, we could, but it really takes a lot of time. But to be fair, like what I always say on my socials, whatever I'm demonstrating is the effects of using low quality stuff. Always get good quality locks, get good quality doors, stuff like that, right? So if you saw as well, what I'm trying to show, some people commented and like, hey dude, why are you teaching criminals how to do this? I'm like, dude, I learned it from criminals. But that's the thing, right? The problem is that all of us have this false sense of security because we put locks, we put sliding doors, and we think, we are safe, right? I'm pretty sure up to quite recently, a lot of people didn't know actually how easy it was to break through sliding doors. And I showed you guys just with a screwdriver.
It's underneath.
Yeah, it's underneath, right? So we have this false sense of security. So what I'm just trying to say is that one is that service providers such as the door lock companies, the sliding door companies, you all should buck up lah. That's one, right? And two, but they'll only start getting better quality stuff once people start asking for better quality stuff. So
I see.
What I'm hoping for is that people who watch this
are educated.
Yeah, educated and
take extra steps.
Yeah, they take extra steps, or they hold these companies accountable lah for the low quality stuff they're giving.
The craziest thing is the TSA lock.
Oh, the TSA lock. Oh, dude. So this is the thing about the TSA lock. I know.
I'm going to throw away my TSA lock. No point already, bro. I got zip there, right? What's the point? Just going to cut through my zip.
So the thing about TSA locks is this, right? This is the sad thing about this whole thing. So TSA locks are compulsory if you're going to the US and all, right? And they're supposed. And the thing about TSA locks is that they say that yes, you get TSA locks because the security over there will use their key
to open
it. But the thing is, they are the only ones who are supposed to have the key.
But now...
No, the fact is... And here's what I tell you this, I got this key for $5.
No fucking way.
Yes, I got it for $5, right? And I can open any of those TSA locks for $5. Right?
So it's counterintuitive. Really,
counterintuitive. If you ask me locally, if you're traveling, you want to use a combination lock, go ahead and do it. But don't get the TSA ones.
I literally just got a TSA. Oh my God. But in the end also you said, no point. If your bag has a zip, no point. You just poke a hole, then you open your bag.
You guys actually went through all my content.
I went through. I'm like, wow. I'm like, okay lah. I might as well just go and travel.
Those are quite old videos.
Now I was like, wow. I mean, it doesn't really make sense anymore for me to have a lock already, right? Most bags have zips, right?
Most bags are. But okay, they are the new kind of bags.
The clip thing.
Yeah, so it's actually like they call it zipless kind of bags. Yeah, so it clips on. So those seem to be quite secure. I don't have one myself. but I
got nothing to hide. Like, you're going to rompa me, you're going to rompa my underwear, man. I don't know lah, right? Yeah, it's going to be. I'm sorry I diverged so much, but I want to go back to your love for crime.
Yep.
But at the same time, not the heart
to commit crime.
Right. Okay. You're growing up, you're in high school.
Yeah.
What are the types of courses that you consider, or was there someone you spoke to in order to get into this, at least this journey towards there?
Actually, to be honest, no. So it was a very difficult journey because in Malaysia, when I was doing it, there wasn't criminology courses at all.
Oh,
right?
damn.
So my degree is actually in international business.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah, so, and I did STPM, I went through a whole process. I'm government uni educated my whole way, all the way degree, master's, PhD, everything's government uni. Only now, I think, I know UM just launched a degree in criminology, which is very good. And some other private universities have launched it. My time was a very lonely journey. So if you ask me, in Malaysia, criminologists, there are a handful of us. Most of us know each other.
Wow.
Right? But most of them are academicians. There are very few of us who are actually practitioners.
So they don't know how to pick a lock.
They don't know how to pick a lock. In theory, they probably do.
It reminds me so much of like how electrical engineers don't know how to change light bulbs.
Oh, damn.
Actually, legit, if you ever meet an electrical engineer, ask them if they know how to change light bulb.
I will test that out next time.
Yeah.
Oh shit, man.
Yeah, so I did that, and then it was so difficult when I first started off. I went to companies and tell them, hey, let me conduct certain trainings for you. I'm going to talk about crime, and be like, but your degree is in business.
Yeah.
What are you going to talk to us about crime about it? So it's a lonely journey, a long journey with that to prove that I'm competent enough to talk about this. But I have to say the one thing that probably gave me a bit of a confidence boost was the first thing I did was I did pickpocketing, right? So I did a demonstration on pickpocketing, and it was an event. It was like a beauty pageant event. The organizer called, say, hey, would you just want to come and talk about a bit of crime prevention for the women? I said, okay. But what I didn't know was what he actually called a lot of police officers as well.
Wow.
Right? So there were like 100 police officers in that space, senior officers as well. But just to share, how small was I as an individual. I was called to speak at that event, but I wasn't given a seat to eat at that event, right?
Damn.
So
Okay.
so I just spoke at the event. But what I did was I called somebody up from the crowd, random person, right? And I pickpocketed her phone or something like I pickpocketed something, right, out of her. And then everybody was like, oh, cool, So impressive. Police officers were there and all, right? And the next day, after the event, I get a call from the police officer. It's like, Shamir, I was at this event. I said, oh, thank you very much. I said, hey, very interesting stuff. Do you know the person you pickpocketed was a police officer's wife?
Oh, shit.
And I was like, oh shit. And I'm like, hey, so sorry, but I gave everything back. You all saw I gave everything back.
Yeah.
Say, no, that's not the problem. The problem is this. We are all very seasoned officers.
But they couldn't detect it.
None of us saw you do it. So can you
Wow.
come over? We want to have a chat with you.
Wow.
So that was like, good man, a confidence boost.
How old were you when this happened?
I was maybe 24.
Damn, dude.
25. I was young.
Let me backtrack. So just let's hold this police story a bit.
Yep.
How did you learn how to pickpocket so fast?
I watched a lot of videos and I practiced a lot. I practiced a lot with people. Just friends, I say, hey, can I try this on you? Can I try that on you? Can I just try something? If you feel something, you tell me. But until then, So it's even harder because they're expecting something. But when they don't feel it, they're like, oh, so cool. So...
You learn via YouTube lah.
I learned via YouTube. Honestly, I learned via YouTube.
That's fucked up, man.
Yeah,
That's fucked up, man.
It's messed up.
Basically, if you go to Spain and France, you'll be immune.
No,
You
dude.
won't get-
I actually was in Spain last year. And I was hoping I meet somebody who picks pockets.
Wow,
I wanted to learn. I
You're
was
there for
hoping,
apprenticeship.
I wanted to. I was like,
Go to
dude,
Spain.
if somebody pickpockets me, I will tell them, look, I'm going to pay you whatever you stole from me, but I want you to teach me, right? So,
mucho
Wow.
yeah, but nobody pickpocketed me. So I was like,
Wow, that is so interesting.
I was hoping I meet someone, but I didn't.
Wow, damn, man. Okay. So going back to your story, you go and you give this talk to the police
so
officers.
I gave the talk to the police. So I have to say, then after I conducted maybe a 1 hour session for the police, explained to them the psychology behind it, how it worked, how this happened, and then the good thing was then I added that to my profile, saying, hey, look, I've done trainings for the police. So that allowed me then to have that boost. And then later on, I found out, hey, University of Malaysia has a Masters of Criminal Justice. And it doesn't require a law background because it's mainly in the law faculty.
Yeah.
So half of it is criminology courses, forensics, victimology, and the other half was a law subject. So put that together, I was able to enroll for that subject. So interesting, most of the people in my class were not from law background. We had a lot of police officers in my class.
I see.
And then from that, so at least that is more related. The masters was very closely related lah. And then even my PhD in criminology, again, I had to do it in the social science faculty in University of Malaysia because they don't have a criminology faculty, right? So by doing that, my focus was very specific on that CPTED, crime prevention through environmental design, which basically talks about how do you build a safe city, right? By using architecture instead of just putting more CCTVs and security guards. So we did that, and then and then like I said, I had a Europe trip last year. It was very interesting. I stopped by in Oxford, and normally it's very difficult to meet Oxford professors, but someone actually sat down with me, an Oxford professor who's in criminology, sat down with me. We had amazing chats and all. So I have to say, the journey, especially, I'm a big believer of education. And I have to say, certain things were only possible because of my educational background.
But I think it's also how you absorb it.
It's
Like
true,
how
sir.
you absorb information is so fast, bro. You think about
thanks.
it, YouTube videos,
Yep.
then like pickpocket, and then after that, I think the gradual increase is definitely your rate of absorption of
True. And that's
information
the
lah.
thing, right? Why when you said, it's innate knowledge, not say innate knowledge, but criminals have the exact same thing, right? They absorb things extremely fast, and they're able to identify loopholes in systems which most people don't see, right? So for example, not only did I watch a lot of pickpocketing videos, I also watched a lot of magic videos, right?
Oh,
Because
I see.
magicians are based...
It's distraction.
It's distraction, right? Same thing with pickpockets, right? The same thing, only thing one makes money and the other one's entertainment, right? So one ends up in prison, the other one, ends up in a stage, right? So two different things, right? But same concept. So I did a lot of that. But one thing you would understand with magicians as well, they're able to look at things and notice it from a perspective that you are not able to. That's why you are like, oh my God, how is this happening, right? It's all sleight of hand, it's all psychology, right? So same thing with criminals. When we talk about picking locks and all, right? Or breaking into homes and all, right? Why is it that, you have some of the best and most secure systems out there and somebody looks at it and says, I'm going to use a screwdriver and break in.
Yeah.
Right? So it's all just...
The crazy thing as well is something that you bought. It was like a little machine.
Oh, yes.
Even for those, what do you call it? Those pin locks, when you open into the house.
Yeah.
Electronic locks.
The electronic locks.
Yeah.
All you have to do is just hover,
Beep it, right?
opens. I'm like, dude,
yeah.
what the hell, man?
Okay. So even with that, right? You see, when people ask me, look, how are you able to do it? And I'll be very honest about it, right? And I'm always very honest about my content. Is that, look, we are able to break the encryption because it's a low encrypted system.
Oh,
right? If
I
the
see.
system's encryption is good, we cannot do it. So that's why when we tell people, look, you want to get digital locks, go ahead.
But get good ones.
Get ones with extremely good encryption. And people ask, how do you tell if the encryption is good? So I'm not a very tech person. I don't understand the tech behind it. But I just tell them this. If you ask the salesman, can you explain to me about the encryption? And he cannot, then it's not a good system.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think
so-
it's a valid point. All
Yeah,
right.
so if they can actually explain to you the technicalities behind it, then you know it's actually a very good system.
So
Yes.
I guess the question now is how do we break into a house, right? And the reason I ask the question is because for homeowners, watching your videos, I think most of them feel that, wow, I think most of them can look at that and say, well, that's my house.
Yep.
Right? So what are the best practices? So you mentioned if you're going to get a digital lock, make sure the encryption is good.
Yep.
Do you recommend like those biometric stuff? Do you recommend like what type of
Did you just shake your head?
locks?
No, I said, yeah, you can. Biometric stuff and all, you can.
Right. So okay. I guess I'll ask this way: how do you secure your house?
Okay, a few things. One is that I've got dogs.
I was about to ask that as well.
Dogs. Not dogs. I've
Wait,
got dogs.
what type? We have to be specific.
Okay, if you ask me what are the best type of dogs,
Local.
street dogs.
Bro.
mongrels.
The paria dog.
The paradox, right? The best, right? Why? Low maintenance, right? They're extremely loyal, right? And
They eat everything.
they eat everything, right? So and then they'll take care of your home, right?
But I just want to share this. I think it's a bit sad that Malaysia banned I think the two probably best guard dogs, which would be pit bulls and Carner Corsos.
Oh, really? They
Okay,
ban, huh?
so I have to say I understand the thing about pit bulls.
Yes.
And I've seen a lot of videos overseas where
Yeah,
pit
it's
bulls are
deadly
just
lah. Yeah.
they are
Aggressive.
deadly, right? As much as they are tame, but because of the size of the dog, when the fella bites you, you're dead, lah.
He thinks he's playing,
Yeah,
but
he thinks he's playing, right? So I just to share, just about a month ago, there was this auntie walking her dog, a small poodle kind of dog, lah, the small play dogs, right? Walking, and this stray dog went and attacked,
Gone.
right? And I went to help. It was just outside my house, so I went out to help. And dude, I took a stick and I'm trying to hit the dog, and that's the first time I've actually seen a dog attack where the dog is so laser focused and he refused to let go.
No, that's quite normal. Actually,
my God.
the more you whack the dog,
Yeah.
the vice grip becomes harder.
Oh man! And then I'm
Yeah.
pulling the tail, trying to
Cannot.
get him to let go. And I was like, oh my God! And it went on for about a minute until finally a few.
The
other
dog
people-
gone already. The poodle gone already.
No, we were able to save the dog.
Oh,
lah. We
is it?
saved the dog,
Yeah,
but it
yeah.
went on for a minute. A few other neighbors came out and we were able to pull this
But
dog
your
away.
point
lah.
is that this is a mongrel.
Yeah.
This is
So
a
if it was a
mongrel.
And it's
pit
not even a pit bull.
Forget it, man. I've
Yeah.
seen those videos. So I really, I'm very, so I would agree on that. But that's why I said you don't need those kind of big
course,
breeds
of
to. But
But
of
feels
course, when
good
you
lah.
look at a pit bull, nobody's going to come in, right?
Yeah, I don't know if
You look at a Rottweiler.
Carner Corso before.
Common Corso, no. How do you spell that? Then Nick can pull it up.
You know, so Carner Corsos, just to sidetrack a bit, Carner Corsos were actually Roman war dogs.
Oh, so they must be huge, like these dogs.
That's why they have this heritage. They're huge, but they are deadly, and then they are also quite intelligent as well.
Wow.
nice.
I always thought
That's why-
Doberman was peak. Oh my,
My
lord.
God, this guy, these
So
dogs
you
are
type in
huge.
like Roman war dog Carner Corso, and then you can see they used to wear.
Armor.
I think so lah.
Roman.
Roman war dog.
Wow.
Oh wow!
Bro, how do you know
Look
this
at
shit?
the size.
damn.
Wow.
Hey, ChatGPT does it well though, I gotta say.
So like they were. So I believe this is banned. This fella.
Of course lah. I think looking at the fella, so
Basically, if you look at the jaw and the whole mouth,
Yeah.
it's pretty much it's almost like a tiger. I think.
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
man, it's crazy. I think this one you keep in the house. Even you don't want to go in the house.
Yeah.
But I got a question. Why dogs plural or not? Why dog?
Okay, no, I'm a dog lover as well.
Oh, okay,
so
okay.
I've got dogs. So in case one is asleep, the other one's probably you got
Okay.
different kinds. Sometimes some dogs are a bit more alert, some are not. But I just have dogs. Like, I've grown up with dogs my whole life.
How many?
So I've got 2 at the moment.
Okay.
At one point we had 4. But I also have this habit of suddenly I see a stray, I bring back.
Oh, I have the same problem. I
Yeah,
have the same
so
problem. Okay.
at some point, but I'm good. The good thing is my neighbors are quite okay with them as well.
Okay.
So
I have to ask also, no matter how many dogs you have,
Yeah.
you can always feed poison, right?
yeah, you can. So, but and that's the thing about stray dogs. Also, they eat anything, right? So,
Yeah.
So you don't even have to go to poison. Even chocolate is bad enough, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I've
but the idea of
seen,
having dogs, but the idea of having dogs is that I'm a light sleeper.
Oh, when
So
they bark.
When they
bark,
bark,
yes, that's the key.
and you have dogs.
I
right?
have.
they
You
bark.
do realize your dog has a different bark for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Actually, it's alert.
It's alert.
It's
yeah.
like stranger danger.
Yes.
And then you like somebody's at the front door.
Postman is a different bark. A cat is a different bark.
They
another
feel the
dog-
threat, I feel.
Yeah.
Is it possible to train the dog to only take food from you?
Yes, it's possible.
Possible
right?
lah,
It's
but
possible.
you have to invest in that time and probably a trainer to do that lah, kan?
Actually,
You have to.
I know
invest-
your dog.
mine
your
only
dog
trainer.
Sure.
yes, huh?
I train my dog.
Wow.
She's only 6-7 months, but she won't eat unless I like go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very well trained. I
okay
wish
lah.
I had your patience lah.
No lah. I got a firm hand, that's why lah. I don't-
Okay, so
But it's
first layer of defense is a dog.
A dog,
Okay.
right?
Assume they
Second
can
one,
breach that.
Yeah, if they breach that, okay, then the next thing is, of course, get a very good quality padlock, right? I think when it comes to brands, it doesn't matter what brand, just that it makes sure it's good quality. Don't get the cheap ones lah. All right, like the ones you see on my socials, which I'm breaking through in seconds, it's all cheap locks,
And you
right?
change the fucking lock lah.
Yeah.
So you change lock lah. You lah. Okay.
Get
So you
good
would still
locks.
recommend physical locks also?
Yeah, I do actually. I do.
Okay.
The downside to me, why when you have digital locks as well, is that okay? Sometimes you've got technical issues. What if suddenly there's some virus on your thing? I don't know how these things can malfunction, right? Even physical locks can malfunction at times, right? Suddenly the mechanism inside is not working. The other day, some guy was messaging me and saying, "Hey, look, I've got the key for my lock, but I'm turning it and it's not working. What can I do?" So like that means the mechanism inside is broken. Like you just have to cut the lock. I said, So you've got those kind of things, right? So everything can malfunction. It's just at what point does it do it? So even your locks, every few years change it, right? If you need to change it every few years, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, you should
Every
change
few years
it. Yeah,
change your lock.
lock, right? At least every 5-6 years, like change your locks, like
You should get like a lock company to sponsor you.
I should lah.
Bro, that's mad, bro.
Unfortunately, nobody has come up to me yet.
I feel like this is some wild shit. It's like I want you to test break our lock, and then test break another lock.
I actually have a friend whose family owned the lock company. Are you familiar with Dexter?
Dexterous,
Dexterous. Yeah,
Bro.
SS2.
Yeah.
dude, that is the top tier lock in PJ, bro.
Oh yeah. Everybody knows Dexterous.
Yeah, my former church mate. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Hook us up.
Please,
Send
sponsor the episode, man.
Her name is Sarah. Her name is Sarah. Sarah, hook us up, man.
The
I'm gonna sign this
SS2, right?
conversation.
Oh wow.
Maybe she sponsor you, right?
Yeah. Oh, at least they should sponsor Yamcha session, man.
Fucker,
Sarah,
please sponsor me, lah. I also change my lock, dude. I'm feeling a bit paranoid now,
Sarah,
bro.
please give them locks, man.
But okay, so like
So proper locks, right?
yeah.
And then after that, the one kind of door, even your door knob, right? Then let's go to the door. Let's say I'm able to break the lock. I'm able to bypass the grill already. Right now, let's look at your door knob. I'm not a big fan of the
circle one.
the round ones.
You want
right?
a handle?
I want the handle one. Why? Very simple. In case of an emergency, let's just say either I'm running or at some point of time, my hands are slippery, yes.
Oh my god! Luckily, mine is not a circle. Oh, I got 2 out of 3.
So they say any lock variation where it's up down rather than
Rather than they call
rotation.
it the tumbler ones, I think they call it right, tumbler ones, right? Because what? Just say my hands are slippery, or let's just say somebody has stabbed you and you're running into your house,
Blood,
lah. Blood. You want to turn at that point, you cannot turn, right? So same thing with even bathrooms. Why I would never recommend those is because
Soap and
soap and all, you
slippery
slip and then you want to just say you're on the floor, you're trying to reach, you reach up and then you're not able to turn it around because of that,
My
right?
gosh, that is wild, man.
So now not only change lock, change handle.
No. I don't have. All my toilet is sliding door.
Sliding door, okay. Sliding doors, okay. Even your main door, make sure it's the type the handle bars one, the handle ones, right?
Wow.
So those are better quality ones, and not only just better quality, get good quality ones, and also those because It's just
Your family must feel so bloody secure with you around. If you go for a work trip, right, they're like, when you coming back?
my parents are very old, so we've got dogs at home for them.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Wait, but I want to pause here first because I think you, correct me if I'm wrong, I suspect you would give different advice to different types of house also. For example, how you secure a flat. Let's say if you go up the social ladder, how you secure a flat to a single story house, to a terrace, to a semi, to a bungalow. It's all different, right? So how do you, what are the differences? Let's say you start with a flat.
Okay,
right?
let's start with a flat, right? Okay, so the thing is with flats and all, you get proper doors, right? The most problems with flats and all, it's very hollow.
yeah.
So it starts with that door because that's how people break into flats, right? And that's one, and a proper grill and a proper lock. That's all you need. Solid door, proper handle, proper lock, proper grill. That's all you need. Then let's just go up to maybe a landed property. Now you can have a dog, you have a dog. If you want to put alarm systems, you can. You want to put CCTVs, you can, right? And then same thing as well. But just if you've got a sliding door or anything like that, make sure that is secure as well. The
High quality sliding door.
Maybe with a grill.
So I've seen a lot of homes nowadays. They don't put the grills to the sliding doors. I feel that's a bit dangerous.
Just naked.
Yes.
You could just break the glass.
Yeah. Or
Maybe they do it for aesthetic purposes.
yes,
that's
people
why.
do it for aesthetic purposes, right? And that's the thing with all these sliding door companies. They sell that aesthetics and they say, no worries, our glass is tempered glass. So what? Right?
They can totally hack through that shit.
If they want to, they can, right? So I always tell them, this. I've seen companies sell this mesh, the mesh, right? And I've seen how they promote it, right? And I feel it's not, okay, I don't know, I've never tested it out, but I've seen how they promote it and I look at it and I'm like, I think I can break through because what
Criminal mind, but no heart.
Well, it's a new video.
but that's the thing, right? When they always take a hammer and they whack on the mesh.
But what if it's a knife?
Yes, exactly.
Or those large scissors that you cut. Yeah,
exactly.
it's possible.
Because when I look at the mesh, I'm like, they must have some way to cut that mesh. If not, how do they get that measurement?
Yeah.
Right. So
in order to place it.
Yeah. So there must be a way to cut through the mesh, right? So yeah. So but that's why I say when people promote stuff as well, it's sometimes, I understand from a business perspective, but you have to be responsible as well.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
When I renovated my place, my mom was like, let's do it all glass, aesthetic. The moment I went in, I felt such insecurity. I was like, I think we need to delay the move in. She's like, why? I need to put up grills. I don't feel
nice.
I don't feel confident. And this is like 5 years ago now. And when I look at it right now, I'm like, my God, luckily I installed it. Because a couple of break-ins happened also, you know. Yeah. And it's because they wanted aesthetics.
Aesthetics.
Yeah, man.
Thing, right? So always. So here's one thing you must understand, and I have to make this clear with anyone that's watching. It's that there's no such thing as a foolproof way to protect your home. For example, I be very honest, my house as well, people can break in, right? But the ideas of these locks and grills and all is to delay people from breaking in.
So that people opposite the road or outside your neighbors can somehow like, what's happening?
So increase the chance of mistakes.
Yeah.
Yes, and also it gives you time to call the police. Right? You need time to call the police.
Yeah.
And so also when it comes to your home, right? Let's move up as well. So just say same thing with double story house and all good. Anything there's time for you to run up and all. But in any family, in any home, you have to pick one room and make that the safe room.
I see.
So just say if it's your master bedroom, basically everything in that room has to be the most secure. Your bedroom door has to be more secure than every other door. Your handle has to be, your locks have to be, everything, right? For master bedrooms, make sure you have an additional tabular lock inside, not tabular lock.
Wow.
There's the latch.
Like an additional.
You recommend
latch,
even weapons inside.
If you have to.
I have a baseball bat, bro.
I
have a baseball bat, bro. I learned from my dad.
Yeah, keep that. Keep a fire extinguisher, very important.
Oh, fire extinguisher.
Yeah, because like I said, that's a safe room, right? Anything you need to. Most of the time when fires happen, you're in your bedroom.
Yeah.
And then when you want to go down and exit the home, unfortunately, maybe downstairs is ribbon. So at least you have your fire extinguisher to
make a
path for you to get out, right? So that's very important as well. So yeah, so make sure everything is very secure. The bathroom is the least secure place ever. So don't bother.
Really?
Yeah. Same like your bathroom door is all sliding door, push also you'll break. Right? So what's the point, right? If you really want, you can secure your bathroom room door. But I always think as long as you secure your main master bedroom, just say if that's your safe room, it's good enough.
Wow, that's such good advice.
No, thank you.
That is such solid advice. Now that I think about it, it's instinct.
Yep.
You run up, you go to your master bedroom.
Yep.
It has to be
Yeah.
the most secure already.
Yeah.
Best part, you know a fire extinguisher company.
Yeah, I know a fire extinguisher company.
Which one? Shout out other sponsors.
Brian, bro, Brian, just do a Yamcha Sessions one, bro. Shit, man.
Yeah, fire extinguisher. If you want to have weapons, baseball bat is one. But I am not a big fan of weapons because unless you know how to use it, don't use a weapon unless you're trained at it, right? Because what happens at that point, you're panicking. You know, you've got just say you've got family, you've got kids in the room and all, right? So at that point, you're more worried about their safety and. Sometimes you now suddenly brought a weapon to
The bedroom.
the bedroom, right? But it's okay to have it. I would still recommend you have one. Another thing, pepper spray. Right? But only if you know how to use pepper spray. A lot of people don't
spray
understand.
outside.
Really?
But
that's a design flaw, right?
That is a design flaw.
No, but you're in panicking mode.
Yeah, you're panicking mode. Another problem with pepper spray is this. It has to be, when you use it, you have to hold it one arm's length. Anything shorter when you spray, you get...
You can also.
There's a potential
but
of you
if you
getting
reach out, parang, all that, bro.
So that's the thing lah. So pepper spray, you've got two types. You've got the aerosol base, never get those. You've got the water base, which is slightly better. I'm not a big fan of pepper spray, but you can get those, right?
What do you have in your room? Can say, cannot say.
If I say, then I'm scared that when the police come to my house, there's going to be a big raid in my house.
It's okay, you tell me after podcast.
No. But in all honesty, so I like I said, I don't have that many weapons in my bedroom. I'm not a fan of it because I'm worried, if I keep a knife, suddenly I've brought a knife to I've given him a knife to use against me.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so what I have in my bedroom is basically my door is extremely secure.
Okay.
I've got extremely secure doors, I've got multiple locks on those. So, and I think by the time you actually take the effort to break through those, you might have just I might have go to my neighbor's house and break in.
Wow.
So it's just going to take too long to break in.
Okay.
And so it's those latches where, you don't realize there's a latch there because you cannot pinch it from outside, right?
Yeah.
So
It's from the other side only.
It's from the other side only, right? So yeah.
So that means they are only resorting to force.
Only resorting to force, right?
They'll need
if they really, So that's why your door has to be very secure so that with that force, your door doesn't break, right?
I feel so much better. I just changed my doors, bro.
Perfect.
Oh my God,
and burglars usually don't bring a ram.
They don't.
It's too heavy.
It's too heavy. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So the one also thing is that if you all have families sleeping in different rooms, when you all go to bed at night, tell them please lock their doors. Because what will happen with criminals is that they will go into a room, take one person
hostage,
right? And then just say if you have your mother staying with you, right? Then they'll tell your mother faster, knock on the door, ask him to open.
Oh no.
And then you are going to open, right?
Wow.
So, you have got a maid, same thing as well. Tell when you go to a room, lock, do not open unless, somebody randomly knock, don't open unless you hear my voice, that kind of thing.
Correct me if I'm wrong. And the reason I asked the different type of houses because, and again, could be totally wrong. I don't know why I hear a lot more stories of bigger houses being, well, I mean, hindsight, the burglar knows that there's more stuff to steal, right, in a bigger house. But also there's more points to exploit because the house is bigger. And all
weakness
that.
points.
So I guess now for the rich folks, right, they have big house, 6, 9, 10,000 square feet, right? Big gardens for
flowers
to hide, to multiple doors and things like that. What's the advice? Because I think a lot of your scenarios in your videos are terrace houses or what. So those are just back front, right? These are the unless the helicopter. That's not gonna happen. So it's back front. Whereas for bungalows, it's like 360, right? How do you advise a rich person how to secure?
Okay, so one thing very important is there has to be grills all around lah. Unfortunately, right? I know it messes up the aesthetics lah, but you have to lah, So just think of it like this, right? Imagine if even a condominium or flat or even a single-story terrace house, there's only one entrance and one exit. And already people are able to do it. Imagine now you've got multiple.
360.
You've got everywhere. Right? That's why I said dogs are very important, right? Because they secure the whole perimeter,
surveillance,
right? Yeah. So and then if you want to talk about homes, like let's say bungalow houses, we don't even start from the grill. We start from the gate. What kind of gate do you have? If you have gate with horizontal design patterns, that's a big problem because now you've built a ladder for
That's
them
a
to
let
walk.
go, right?
Yeah, you built a ladder for them
That's
to come
exactly
in.
what I said to my wife. I'm like, no, we're not going to do it. I can climb it. If
Yeah.
I can climb it, what is another thief?
Yeah.
You crazy are you?
So good, you've already figured this out. Right?
Bro, I damn scared, bro. And I see this stuff shit, I'm like, nah. Because last time, my old house, I could climb over if I forget. Fuck it, I go climb. Right? So I climb. Then I just stay under there because it's got shade.
Yeah.
Then my dad gets back, he lets me in. He's like, what you climb over to get? I forgot my key. He's like, you. So now I'm like, nah.
Yep.
Normal gate, all the small hole, you
Yeah.
cannot even panjat one. You hold right, your finger should kena cut.
Yeah, you need those kind. So just imagine this. If you were a teenager, how would you break into your home?
Bro.
Yeah.
That would be the exact way criminals will break in.
I
So-
break in so many times into my own home because I don't want to stand under the heat. That's my motive. I'm like, I'm not going to sit under the sun. That's why I climb over. My house cannot.
So that's why with a bungalow house, that's exactly right. It starts all the way from the fence, right? The kind of fence you have, all of that, right? So like we said, don't get horizontal designs. Vertical designs are better.
Yeah.
The smaller the gaps, the better it is.
Yeah.
Right. And then 360, you have to secure. And sometimes we forget, okay, once we've secured downstairs, we don't secure upstairs.
Oh.
Your grills upstairs, your windows upstairs and all, you have to have.
Luckily, I got
So
good
why
upstairs.
upstairs? So, like, how would they get in?
Bro, just
like,
use ladder, go up.
They climb up.
Yeah,
and
they climb up.
infiltrate
You'll
from
be
the top.
surprised how agile criminals are.
Yeah.
Right? In seconds. So I saw Bomba do this once. One of my neighbors' home, I was living in SS2 back then. I was renting a place and one of my neighbors' home kena lightning. Right? So the roof started
Wow.
becoming on fire, right?
Oh, okay,
You started seeing the house was going to burn and Bomba came. And I saw the guy, even before they could set up the ladder,
He panjat already.
the fella panjat, he jumped on the wall and then jumped up.
Fucking
and then he
parkour lah, the fella.
Wow, really?
He
no
parkour.
joke, he did
He did
parkour.
parkour.
Yeah.
My
Damn, I was
goodness.
so impressed. Like, wow, so impressive, Bomba. Right? So, if they can do it, don't forget, criminals.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have to understand one thing about criminals. Being a criminal is a career path. It is a career path, right? So the same
Yeah, the
way.
Bomba wrong career.
And Bomba, maybe like me, no heart to
heart.
commit, no heart to commit crime. Right? So the reason why criminals are always good at what they do is the same way why you guys are good at what you all do, right? This is your career. Whatever you do for a living, you every day you are becoming better and better at what you do. So same with criminals as well. You do it every day, you get better and better at what you do. So that is why when you think your house is secure, you say, oh, no, I no need to put grills upstairs because downstairs done already. No, these guys will find a way to climb your roof if they have to, right? And they are not scared of heights. They will do it. And but the only thing I have to say with every home is that if you have got grills on the upstairs, you must have a fire exit as well.
Yes,
For
of course,
emergency,
the
yeah.
grill that can open
One
from
grill must
inside.
be, yes, from inside only, not from outside.
Yes,
from
correct.
inside.
I have that. That's the
Yes.
first thing I thought. So if got fire, how am I going to get out?
Yeah.
Then I told my wife, no, you got to have one grill that can open, but
Yes.
only one.
Yes, you must have that, right?
Yeah.
So, and also your upstairs, your grill should be inside, not outside, right? So your window and then your grill inside, right? So once they've broken, just say they're able to break the window, now they still have to figure out the grill, right? So you've got those things for double story houses.
I'm just very curious. What is the selection process like? So if a criminal goes into a taman, whether it's rich taman or the typical terrace taman, right? I mean, the terrace taman you get hundreds of houses. The bungalows also, but dozens, right? How do they decide what they want? Because I can imagine it's a buffet,
Yep.
right? Like which house and there's we're only for a few nights.
Yeah.
We have to pick, right?
Yeah. So, okay. So one thing we have to understand about criminals is that they are the least prejudiced people.
Yeah.
They don't care who you
They
are.
want weakness.
They just look for vulnerabilities, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
So if just say sometimes it's opportunity. I just happen to pass by like, I should do this now.
Oh.
Right? Yeah. Sometimes it's like, okay, the most secure ones and they really feel that they want something, then they will spend some time surveilling.
Wow.
Right? So it really depends on thing like there's no real set way of doing it. It just depends on
There was
the
no
level
plan
of crime, the level of criminal. Like if an amateur will probably just take whatever he can. The more seasoned ones will probably do surveillance and they're like, okay, if we do this, it's going to take time. That's what.
Do they ever consider like, oh, this house looks like it belongs to a rich person, therefore they target it? Does that?
I think you look at the house already, you know, like if rich
tell,
fellow or not, like I can. So it's something that okay. So another thing would be sometimes it's just that opportunity, right? So just say after a wedding, you see some people, especially after Indian weddings, everyone is in gold, right? So you just know if I follow this guy back,
Oh shit!
I know there's going to be a lot of gold in the house for the next 1 week at least. Before sometimes they borrow gold from their relatives, or maybe just their gold.
Wow.
Right, so I know if I follow this guy back, I'm going to have a lot of gold. I don't know what else I have, but I know there's going to be a lot of gold.
Oh my god!
So sometimes it's not good to show off as well, lah.
I was just telling you before the podcast. I witnessed the guy. I was crossing a road, like 3 gold chains straight away in seconds. In seconds, moto drive by, snatch, gone.
Yeah.
Seconds, and the guy was just standing there. What happened? And I feel so sad.
Yeah, you cannot react to these kind of things, right? Because you don't expect it to happen. And when it happens, best thing you can do is you want to chase the guy, so how you want to chase, right? Like I said, they are seasoned, right? They do it all the time. They know when's the best time to strike.
So, but worst case scenario, they break through all the locks already. Pretty much you are exposed, right? And usually, what's the process of the thought process of the criminal at that point in time? Does he now want to tie you up and then go grab your stuff and then you leave?
So,
what should a person do in that scenario?
You've got 2 types of criminals, right? One is the violent type, one's the non-violent type.
I knew it.
By looking at the person, you will never know. I've sat down with a lot of offenders, right? I've sat down with a lot. Sometimes the most decent looking people
Are the violent ones?
are the worst kind of fellas I've sat down with, right? So they are so violent. They've got this thing where they just want to hurt you.
They feel like it's an itch they need to scratch.
Yes, right. So psychologically, they're just off. So what you can do is that once, just say somebody breaks into your house, chances are they are going to have a weapon.
Yes.
Just comply. Just say, look, take whatever you want. Let me show you where it is. You want, I take you to the ATM to withdraw if you want also. But just take whatever you want. Don't hurt anyone. That's the best thing you can do.
Your safety is
Your
the
safety
priority.
is more important. That's why we've seen, actually, if you've seen a lot of home breaking videos as well, a lot of it has gone viral. You'll see the ones, they'll come into a parang, they just tell everybody sit down, they'll take the stuff and they'll leave. Right?
Because they also don't want to fight.
Yep.
They might get injured. And if they get injured, they have to go hospital. And they cannot go hospital after committing a crime.
Yeah.
So to them, it's like, I want to not engage as much as I can. But if he's crazy, then
If it's crazy, you
he
got
would
some
have come in to
fellas-
kill you, not to take your stuff.
Yeah, there are
I
some
feel.
people who just want to hurt you. So, you know, what I would say, if somebody breaks in, just say, hey, take whatever you want. This is all I have. Please don't hurt anyone.
Oh my.
So, like, out of 10 criminals, how many would you say are the violent side? How many are
I would do very hard to
Hard
tell.
to
lah.
say, lah.
It's hard to tell. Lah.
It's a coin flip. Lah.
It's sometimes, it really is a coin flip. Lah. You cannot tell. Lah.
Depends on the guy's mood also. Sometimes,
Yeah, it
right?
depends on the guy's mood as well, or is he high on drugs or something when he's coming in, is he high on alcohol? One thing you must realize, you'll never beat a criminal in a fight. Why? Because when he hits you, you feel the pain. When you hit him, he doesn't feel anything because he's high on...
Adrenaline
Adrenaline is one.
Whatever. Yeah.
Drugs is another. Alcohol is another, you know. So that's another thing, right? Alcohol and all is a big thing. Lah. So
Wow,
it makes
man.
a fella cabal, right? So
Damn, man.
I guess, like, is there any scenario where you would recommend the hostage or the person, the homeowner to do some sort of fight back? Is there any recommendation?
No, I always feel your life is more valuable than your belongings. Lah. Your valuables go missing is fine. You'll find some way to recover it, right?
Just upgrade iPhone, bro.
Yeah.
It's okay, man. You know
It's
what I
okay.
mean?
They'll downgrade if you have to.
Yeah,
right?
man.
So, but I always feel it's not worth your life. I've personally sat down with victims, right? As much as I've sat down with offenders, I've sat down with a lot of victims as well. And when you sit down and listen to their stories, man, the trauma they go through after is terrible. You know, I've seen some people, you know, the worst part is when they get slashed, that scar is going to be there forever, man.
Yeah.
Right? So
They look at it, they're
they look at
reminded,
it, right? That's why I sat down with a victim once after they became, you know, I mean, the hospital, you know, was bad. And a few years later, when I met the person, I saw tattoos exactly where that thing was, and said, no, I needed to cover it, lah. You know, so that's why they put tattoos on there. You know, some people that's how they overcome their trauma, you know, stuff like that.
Oh my gosh, man.
Yeah.
Did they regret engaging? That's why?
Maybe, but sometimes it's just you not that you want to react, your body reacted in that way. Again, you're like, oh no, I'm going
Fight
to
or flight,
you know, sometimes, you know. So some people choose fight first, right? It's just how you're designed, right? So you know, maybe some of you did martial arts before, and also instinct kick in. You know, you also reacted, they also reacted, and then you got hurt in the process. And
I'm
all,
a
you know.
flight guy, man. I know for sure.
I also will run first. You know, it's
I'm
okay.
a flight guy, man.
Yeah.
I know.
I you know, if I say this, I know a lot of martial artists are not going to be happy. But I did martial arts for a very long time. But I would still choose flight first before
Well,
fight.
doesn't like GSP, George St. Pierre, he's a martial artist, so he's like one of the best ever. He also say
Just run.
Run, yeah.
Run first, yeah. Run first as fast as you can.
But it's Canadian, lah. So
They always say that it's because like technically they have a lot of sense of control. They already went through a lot of discipline and they know that like for example, you were saying they're just crazy, they're high on drugs, whatever. At the same time, they might have a weapon. You're already at a disadvantage from the start.
And as good as you are, as good as a martial artist you are, so you have to realize one thing. When a knife touches you only, you're already going to get slashed. Right? So you might win the fight, but you're going to get hurt in the process. But I'm not discouraging people. I do feel at some point you need to fight back, right? If they're after your life, by all means fight back. If they're after your belongings, by all means just give in. But just say somebody coming and trying to rape you and all, don't suddenly say, oh no, I heard on the Yamcha podcast, no, just give.
Oh my God. Get raped.
So that's the other thing, right? Because I always imagine that burglars are just there to take stuff and leave, right? It's just business. But you mentioned that sometimes they get violent. And I actually think that's not the worst. I think the worst is what you just described, which is rape. Because then it's not about...
It's like mental trauma.
Physical trauma. Like, does it happen as well, these burglaries?
It does. There were cases where people break in and then suddenly, maybe the girl he saw was his type lah. And then, she gets raped lah. So the one really... Their intention was not to break
rob,
into rape. No, their intention was to rob. But suddenly,
became rape lah.
So in those situations, I have to say, why it's difficult to fight back because while you are going to be raped in the room, probably your family is being held hostage, right? So for you to fight back also, you cannot fight back, right? So now you're in a catch-22 situation, right? If I fight back, my family gets hurt. If I don't fight back, I get raped. So what you'll do? Amala, rape me. So it's a very sad scenario. It's a very sad.
But it's the best case. It is the best option at that point in time.
I don't know what to say. There was a case, I think there was the cyber cafe back then during cyber cafe days.
Back in the day.
Back in the day. I used to be a cyber cafe guy. There was a cyber cafe they got broken into and those guys basically broke in just to rob the cyber cafe. And then they saw the girl, they took turns raping her. Right? So, what could she do? She couldn't do anything. They are holding a weapon to her.
Oh my God. But I mean, I hate to say this, especially on this podcast setting, right? But like, I feel like if I was a girl, if it's your life or rape, then obviously I pick rape lah.
I think most people would do that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you're at the end already.
Yeah.
It's really, I mean, you're going to get hurt for sure, physically, mentally, but you didn't die lah,
Yeah, it's a very
If I was in prison and fucking 5 guys want to rape me with a knife at bro, just rape me lah.
And, and I think that's why when we look at rape victims as well, a lot of them give in because that's the only choice they have.
Yeah. It's not like they wanted to.
No.
You know what I mean?
If they wanted to, it's not called rape.
Because...
But that's the thing, right? When we look at rape victims as well, right? That's the sad thing about it is that they don't have that choice. Right? It's either I sacrifice myself and allow myself to be sexually assaulted over here and live with that trauma for the longest time, or someone in my family gets hurt.
Or
right? dies, right? So that's the sacrifice that they take, right? And I think, it's such an, I want to say noble thing, but I'm sure those who I've sat down with victims of rape before. It's one of the hardest things when I have to listen to the story. It's a very, very difficult thing to go through. And imagine just me sitting down and listening through their experiences was so difficult. Imagine them actually going through experiencing the whole thing. My heart goes out to all those people who have been victims of rape. It's a very, very
it's painful,
very painful thing lah.
I just want to add to this, right? I was reading this article on Reddit like years ago, and that's why I don't listen to noise cancelling headphones. It's a thing for me. Yeah, because I read this story of this guy. He was gaming. He was wearing his noise cancelling headphones. Somebody broke into his house and raped his girlfriend. Oh no! And then he heard something via the noise because it's quite loud lah. The raping is screaming ma. So he took off his headphones. He went into his master bedroom. He saw his wife getting raped.
Oh shit!
He took his gun. He shot the guy in the head. And then the guy died on top of the wife.
Okay.
He dragged the body, put on the ground, continued shooting.
Okay.
After that, right, he's just so traumatized with noise cancelling headphones. And right, like this is in America, right? So when I listened to that, right, I immediately thought, right, I'm never going to use fucking noise cancelling headphones ever again. Because it's kind of like blocking the senses, right? one of your senses that is key in detecting these types of things. So like nighttime, I never use noise cancelling. I go to the gym alone, never noise cancelling headphones. At home also, I'm like, nope, no noise cancelling headphones, man.
Yeah, man, yeah.
Only time is airport.
Because you don't talk to anyone.
I don't talk to anybody or in the airplane. Other than that, I never use it. I never turn it. I'm like, dude, I don't know what the fuck is going to happen.
Yeah,
I'm
true,
so
man.
paranoid. After I read that, I'm never going to turn it on.
No, but it's true, right? Because now you've cut off one of your senses, right?
Key one. It's a
Yeah,
key
it's a
one.
key senses, right? Yeah, so that's the thing, right? Unfortunately, when it comes to your safety and security, there's so many things that you have to do.
Yeah.
But sometimes a lot of people do. But here's the thing, right? It's good to be careful and cautious, but don't be paranoid. But at the end of the day, anything
can happen.
Yeah,
also,
there's no. I know police officers who have been victims of crime, right? So,
Wow.
right. So there was one officer, and he was a senior officer, and he told me, Shamir, my house has been broken into 3 times.
Bro, something's wrong, lah, bro.
So I said, Tuan, you're not junior. Like his rank was quite high. I said 3 times, I said, oh. But what he was trying to tell me was like, look, that's the thing, right? Anyone can be a victim. So when it comes to it.
I have a question now. So one thing that another aspect would be security guards.
Yep.
So a lot of tamans
Yeah.
have security guards.
The motor.
The motor guy.
The motor, of course, they also now put like CCTVs and pretty high fences and all that. Even though it's illegal, you cannot do. But people would take the chance of,
Yep.
running afoul of the law. It means it's safe,
for your
right?
safety, right? Yeah.
So how do we interact with, what are your overall thoughts on security? Because in my head, I'm thinking, hey, look, generally my experience has been, it has improved the security. And then I know it improved because it causes congestion, because last time maybe the taman, you can just go in and out, with the gate and people complain. So to me, when the residents complain, it means it's kind of working, that they're getting annoyed. Why do I have to go in front of residents, right? Yeah, things like that. So my experience has been positive so far. But part of me always feel that, what if the criminal, collaborates with the
security guy.
right?
Yeah, of
Because
course,
you
yeah.
always want to pay. You don't pay a lot, right? Then some, the guardhouse, you don't want to put aircon, things like that.
Yeah,
No,
true.
thing. Right.
That's very true. So here's the thing, the biggest problem with security guards is that if you pay low prices, that's what you get, right? You get low quality guards. And the biggest problem with people is that we don't want to pay for security, right? Because that's the biggest problem.
Yes.
We don't want to pay for
It's like
security.
insurance,
Makes
right?
no sense,
Yeah.
And it's only maybe 50 ringgit a month.
And still, even that, you ask your taman and see, that 50 ringgit a month or so, how many people won't pay?
30%.
There'll always be that. There's always that 20-30% who won't pay.
Part of me, just curious, part of me, right, want to work with the criminal. I
Just
say,
to prove a point.
you want money? These are the houses. Without the
Without the
I don't report you, I tell the guard don't report. And by right, the guard does not have to report because
not his job. But.
not his job. Part of me want that lah, right?
No, but what is the thing, right? You have areas which are very good security because they pay premium. Right? As in, they pay their guards premium. So their guards have time for training.
Yeah.
Their guards have time to go for...
They got a captain
Their
there,
captain
yeah.
there, you see their guardhouse also is a proper guardhouse. Like you said, not only aircon. Okay, I think aircon is very important nowadays for guardhouses, but also at least a toilet.
Yeah, man.
Right?
Water.
Right? Water station, and also I've seen guardhouses perfect. Like it's cool. Like I also don't mind sitting down in there.
Yeah.
And then you've got these other ones. The other day,
Pondok only, bro.
Pondo, and then you've got these other ones. That day I just went. I was super annoyed at the guards, right? Because I went in, and I'm okay with the whole thing where, like you said, right, it takes longer for people to go in now. So just imagine this: if it's more of an inconvenience for you to get into your apartment.
The guard also annoyed, right?
Not only that, it's more inconvenient for the criminals to break in as well. But I went to this guardhouse. I went to this apartment. I clocked in. They gave me a ticket. Say, okay, you have to park in this slot. But it's quite far from where I was going to go. So I drove and I saw an empty spot closer to where the entrance is. So I parked there. I walked to the guardhouse and I said, look, that spot was empty. Can I change cards? And he looks through the card and said, no, I don't have a card for this lot. And then I was like, how can that be? That lot is empty. He said, yeah, but there's no card. So I said, but then how now? He said, if you park there, I have to clamp your car. But I said, but there should be a card.
A ticket for that.
Yeah, a ticket for that what? And he goes back and forth with me and then he just said, I don't know.
No lah, the guy is scared for his job.
So he just said, I don't know, I got no card, I have to climb your car.
But he got aircon.
He got aircon.
Then the guy deserved to get whacked, bro.
So I said, fine lah, no. I said, fine lah, I don't want to break anything. I just went and park back lah. But that's the thing, right? So I went to this, this area lah. I don't want to name the name of this place. But this is how I know they are not paying their guards well. So I'm walking and I'm reaching a corner. I'm looking for this one shop. Right, I'm reaching a corner and suddenly a guard walks from that corner and I stop him and say, excuse me, where's the shop? Right? My GPS shows I should be walking in this direction. And he looks at the name of this place and he says, he points me at the total opposite direction. He said, no, you need to go the other side and turn left and right.
Okay.
So I was like, Then I said, okay, I'm a bit skeptical about this, but I said, now Mike, I ignore him and I just take that corner and the shop is right at that corner.
Oh my God.
He just walked past that shop and he gave me directions to a totally different area, right? So this guard has never been trained. He doesn't know anything. So imagine in an emergency, they suddenly say,
where's the emergency? Oh, you call that?
So imagine, just say there's an emergency. You are calling to your apartment unit. Just say, hey, come to this unit. And the guard has no idea how to get there. So how are you going to get help in time?
Then why are you paying for guard also?
Yeah, so if you pay peanuts, you get monkeys lah. Yeah. Right? So what I have to say is anyone who wants to hire a security guard company, make sure you don't stinge on it, right?
Yeah.
You get them, you make sure, tell them, okay, show me what is the proof that your guards have been trained like this, I will pay you this price.
Yeah.
Right? So I know security guard companies who do amazing stuff for their guards. They take care of their guards. They don't make their guards live in
shit
conditions. Yeah, some guards live in shitty conditions.
To your point, what's very shameful is that this, if it's a bunch of like terrace houses, you can't understand why people want to stinge on it. It's not justified, but you can somewhat understand. But sometimes even the big bungalow areas also, they don't pay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, murder.
Yeah. Why you live in bungalow and you can drive Bugatti?
But that's so difficult to get. You know why people don't pay? The biggest, and I sit down with security managers and they always tell me this, right? The biggest problem with management is that they don't see the ROI, right? People always, right? Okay, just say you do sales, you get to see the ROI. If I spend $1 million on you on marketing, I know I'm going to get 2 million.
Because safety is the eye.
Yes, safety is the eye, but they don't see it, right?
Yeah.
I spend so much, nothing happened also.
That's the thing.
Well, that's the thing. Right? People don't understand. That's why
you're paying for nothing to happen, bro.
I feel like there should be a law that does not prosecute criminals designed to break into these houses. Just to teach a lesson.
Just to teach a lesson.
They are immune. No, you don't get it.
Or you can have like organized, randomized crime. It's like the organization that breaks into random houses to encourage people to do safety.
They break in, they take it, they traumatize them, but they give back all the stuff.
Pay up now. Right?
I genuinely believe that, right? Like, I think it's...
Okay, but I'm also fine with those who say, okay, look, I don't want to pay. But they don't prevent people... Like sometimes some houses, what we see is that, I'm not going to pay, but you cannot prevent me from coming. Like, I know you must give me an access card.
Huh?
Right? Because they say like, okay, now you're putting up the boom gates, right?
Yeah.
So they will say that, okay, if you're not paying the monthly thing, then you have to go through the visitors one instead of the resident one. And they will make noise. Say, no, based on the land here, the law of the land is that you cannot restrict me from going in. Actually, a lot of people don't know. You cannot. If it's non-strata act, basically a lot of your landed properties, you actually put up a boom gate illegal. And all. It's illegal actually. Right?
In fact, I'm in the investment line. So usually condos are not great investments usually. But the one big thing that they have is the whole security.
Because it's strata. So basically what strata is that
contain.
Yes, that one I can do whatever I want lah. So that's why a lot of, but you technically don't own your unit lah in a way again.
Because in the sky,
you got the JMB, right? But also that's what a lot of lenders properties have done now is that they've made their property strata, right? Strata title, which means the JMB has some sort of say in how you. That's why you want to change your gate, you have to get their permission. You want to renovate their house, you have to get their permission, right?
Facade, everything changes. Also,
So the individual title properties and all, that one different, right? Where I don't want to pay, but you cannot prevent me from coming in. So you have to give me an access card. Right? Okay, fine, I'll pay for the access card, but I'm not paying monthly. Right? So you have people like that, right? They don't want to do it, but they make everyone's life difficult. There was a neighborhood who once told me, everyone pulled in money, okay lah, but 80% of people pulled in money to fence up the whole area. But one guy, not only didn't want to pull in money, but he says, no, my backyard, you cannot fence. So they
They got a hole there.
Yeah. So basically everywhere fence, skip, and then continue the fence.
Oh, that one, his house, but his house from mega crime, bro. That one
Maybe lah, but he refused to allow it lah, right? So you have people like that lah, right? You have people who are very selfish, who only think about themselves and not the benefit of the community.
Ayo, that one I don't know what to say lah. I feel like that's why Strata titles are just
of crime, you know.
Yeah, maybe that guy, he's the funnel point lah. So
Maybe
everybody go to he don't want to pay that amount, then he's the guy.
He will be the point of failure.
Yeah lah. You know, for the whole system, exactly. It's the point of failure for the whole system, right? So you got stuff like that lah, right? So that's the biggest problem lah with people.
I mean, condos are typically the most secure.
Yep.
But if you were a criminal, how will you attempt to?
So a few ways, right? When we say the most secure also, okay, let's look at the problem with condos also is because it's basically walled up throughout the whole thing, right? So, but how do my CCTV, are the security guards actually watching the CCTV now? If I climb the wall, if I scale the wall, is anybody even going to notice or not? So that's the first one, right? So just say if I get through the wall. Or second, let's just say you're not paying the security guards well. How do I know you're not paying the security guards well? I see your pondo. Your pondo looks run down. I know you're not paying these guys well. Your guards are oversized. I know, well, what are the guys going to do? They cannot run after anybody, right? So emergency is what they're going to do, right? So I know if I pay these guys, I tell them, look, how much you're earning a month like this? How about I give you a bit more every month, right? But you tutup mata for a while, right? And you tell me which are the ones which are good to break into. Because the guards know everything. You'll be surprised. Guards know everything that happened within the complex, right? Who stays where, what, how many people are staying there, what kind of stuff you have, what are you bringing in, everything they know.
Because your routine your
and
things
they see
you do
every day, right?
Yeah.
And they've got nothing else to do.
Your packages all come.
Yeah, your packages all come, so they know, right? So my best way would be through the guards.
Wow.
People are always the weakest link lah.
I don't want to say who, but I know someone who lives in a condo, and you know when you go up the condo, right, you need a tag to go up.
Yep.
Then you need a tag to go through the floor. So it's 2 points where you need to tag. However, there are always like fire doors and all that where you can enter. But I know this condo, right? The fire door was open ajar a little bit. Someone placed a little block, right?
Okay.
That the door did not close, you know.
Oh.
And the door doesn't sound, you know, it doesn't go like teet, 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 you know, when it's open for too long.
Yes.
So this guy was hiding behind the fire door to wait for the person who I know, tag in, you know, and then he rushes out and then hold the door there also, you know. Bro, that's damn mad, you know. That means this guy passed through the security, that wall, goes in there, comes up the firewall. He knows that this floor, and it's quite high up there, it's like 20 plus. He goes up there, he sees the fire door open. I think security probably left it open for him.
Maybe.
And then he placed the block there. He wait, guy go in. Go in, right? The door is slowly coming out. Because the guy didn't watch the door close behind him.
Of course.
Straight away run in, hold the door also. Wait for the person go inside then he comes out. Bro, that one damn genius. And because you're on that floor, you take safety for granted, so you leave the gate open.
Yeah.
My God, dude. It's damn mad, bro.
Yeah. You know, you said something very interesting. We take safety for granted. Sometimes when we live in apartments and condos,
you think you're ultimate safe?
Yeah. We have this illusion that, condos, apartments, all very safe.
How many units sure won't rompak me, bro?
So that's the thing, right? We've seen people scale the outer part, you know, the balconies, right? Crazy. Some fellas really Spider-Man, right?
Because they know also lah, this guy is he's got a lot of stuff, easiest way to break in, that type of thing. Yeah. So condo not necessarily 100% safe, but like I feel like because your day-to-day life is always in a rush. Your time is always so precious. So you always like, fuck it, the door is going to close. Fuck it, the lift is going to close. That type of thing. So you're not exactly very spatially aware.
Yep.
You know, when you go in the parking lot, I feel in condos also, I'm there, bro. I don't know. Maybe I watch too much fucking shit, right? I like always scan, go, the type of thing. And then I remember where I park, just in case, so I make it as fast as possible. I take photo. This type of thing, I don't know why, you know. I damn scared, you know. But I feel like power outages, all that also is something that you can't even foresee. If you know.
True.
That type of thing is so scary, bro.
Yeah.
I lived in a condo for like 2 months because my relatives came in, and then I went through this. That I'm like, wow.
But the one thing about living in a condo is that you realize, you know, sometimes things are not as important, especially if you forgot something in your car. You're like, I go up already. No, I don't want to come down.
Yeah. Yo, that one, I feel. So I want to go back to your education, right? When you learn about security, and we've talked a lot about home security, right? I'm sure there's many aspects of this, like business security. Maybe even cyber. I'm not sure whether they teach you that as well. But like, how did it go into? I really want to touch on this, but I know there are sensitivities, right?
Yep.
Into organized crime.
Okay.
Because I listened to, I can't say I listened to the whole thing, but clips of your interviews on BFM.
Oh, yeah.
And I found it very interesting how you were saying how organized crime is a lot more challenging than I suppose organizations, regular organizations, right? So when you said how it was a very people, it's like a very people business, because it's like, one of the questions that really struck me is, how can I trust you? And I was like, wow, this is something that is so unique, right? If you think about it, because you're out of the realm of the law, which means you're just dealing with
The
wild
stakes
cards.
are high, basically.
Yeah, and you're dealing with wild cards, you know.
Yeah.
Can you just take me the process, right? I don't need to say which gang, please don't, for the sake of all our safeties, right? Can you just explain, how did you get in contact with these guys?
Okay.
Can you explain that? How you got in contact?
So basically, like we said, so by studying criminology, one of the things that we wanted to do is, when we look at security, people always look at it as processes. Security is always a process. But there must be a reason why, that we have to understand why first are these processes able to be penetrated. That's why I studied criminology, right? You understand the
process.
the thought process before it. And while I had this opportunity of sitting down with offenders and talking to them, one of the things that I ended up with was talking to people who did organized crime. And one of the things that struck me was actually how organized they were. That's why then only I was like, oh my God, that's why it's called organized crime, right? It's so organized, it's so well designed, it's so well executed. It's better than how most MNCs operate.
Yeah.
Right? And so we're talking them, like I said, organized crime, the guys are very, very professional when they speak to you as well. It's not the guys with the tattoos, with the big chains. No, it's the guys with the suit and ties, right?
Wow.
So when you sit down with them and you ask them, say, hey, look, can you walk me through your process? I'm more interested to understand about that. And that's when you understand the brains behind it. Right? These guys are so intelligent that you cannot help but be amazed about the whole thing. Like let's just say even the 1MDB case, right?
Yeah.
Right? So intelligent, right? Nobody can really think, why was it so hard to uncover the whole 1MDB thing? Because everywhere they had they funnel money through here. They set up a company over here. They set up a company there. They got guys from here, from Saudi to work. Intelligent stuff, right? So when we talk about organized crime as well, is that it's putting everything into place and that it works so well as a well-oiled machine.
It's just a system that continues.
It's just a system that continues, right? And when you talk about that as well, how do you hire the right guys to work for you? And I've said it in a lot of other interviews as well. What we think that criminals are always after is money. It's not.
It's not.
It's not. The money is a secondary thing. The amount of money criminals make, a lot of criminals don't have to work actually for a year. Between 1-2 jobs, they don't have to work. If they have got low lifestyle, right? Like I've got a very low lifestyle, you know. But you know, the money is a secondary thing. It's the sense of belonging and loyalty and the sense of
community,
right? And that's why. Okay, I'll give you a very good example on why I say money is a secondary thing. Okay, let's look at even when we look at movies as well about gangs, right? You see, they said, I will die for my gang, right?
Wow.
If I die, I got no money, what? Nobody's going to feed my family, what? But why is it I would die for my gang? Right? So
it's like your brother.
I'm dying for my brother. It's not so much I'm dying for the gang, I'm dying for my brother, right? I'm not dying for money.
Yeah.
Right? When I die, there's no insurance money. My insurance policy, might pay off, but whatever it is, right? I'm dying because I value you so much.
More than myself.
That's why I would go into a fight knowing I'm going to get slashed, right? But I would do it for you.
Damn.
It's the same way as why an army officer will put his life on the line for a total stranger and also for his fellow army officer, because they've gone through the whole thing. They lived together. They've eaten together. They've been poor together.
Communal strength.
Thing, right? There's just something about it that bond that you can build as people that transcends beyond the money.
Wow.
Right? So that's why organized crime is that. They make you feel so part of the family, like you're really part of that organization, that it's your organization. Right? That's why you go the extra mile. That's why, you will skip dinners with your family if you have to, just to make sure something is executed well. And that's the thing about organized crime, right? That's why it's so fascinating when you look into it.
Can you divulge into what are some of the things they do in order to make a community so strongly bonded together? Like, what do they do?
Okay, one of the things is that building that trust, right? So normally the first thing is, how do I break that barrier of me getting to trust you and you getting to trust me? And I it's a process. It's not something that can be done in a day, but the whole process of just spending time with you, sharing things about your life, you sharing things about your life, helping you out, and that's where normally that trust is built, right? So that bond is built through that, right?
It's through time.
It's through
and
time. It's not
okay.
through a thing that's done instantly. People always think, oh, it's easy to build trust. That's why when we tell organizations as well, we do a lot of corporate trainings, right? And when we tell organizations as well, it's not easy to build trust in a day. People sometimes don't understand that. But what people don't understand is that time you spend to get to know that person, and you as a superior going the extra mile to help that person out, right? So just say, when we look at organized crime as well, right? Why is it that people have so much respect for the boss? It's not, the fear is there as a secondary thing, but it's just that if they come to the boss and said, boss,
It's scared of
you know,
disappointing him.
my wife is sick. He says, don't worry, we'll sort it out. What do you need? The best doctors in town. I will help you call the best doctors if I need to, right? And he makes a phone call. My brother over here, his wife is sick. Can you go and see? And the guy goes.
Wow.
Now you've just saved the first wife, right? Of course.
Forever indebted.
Yeah, it's not just that. I trust you because you took the effort to take care of my family. I'm going to trust you with my life, right? So that's how it is, right? Sometimes we go to extra. Just think about the time, right? You and your friends, right? The journey that you all have been through. Why is it that, up to now, just say your childhood friends, you have that bond? It's because you've gone through a journey, right?
Yeah.
You've sometimes eaten from the same plate, right? So that's why, when I went to university, what was very interesting was we stayed in hostels, right? And it was very interesting that sometimes, uni, I was in government uni, our budgets also are very small. Sometimes maybe 7 of us eat, but we'll buy meals for 5. Nasi kanda, we'll buy meal
we
of 5.
split. Uh-huh.
And then we'll just sit down, we'll open everything up and everybody just take a spoon, we'll sit down with the hand, we just eat You build that communal spirit together. And suddenly that bond is there. I've left uni for 15, 20 years, and up to today, we still meet up and we sit down and we talk, and it's like we've never left uni. Right, we still have that bond up to today. Every year we meet up, like about 20 of us meet up, and we go to different states for holidays and all together. And it's still all of us are so close because we had that bond together, right?
Damn.
So every wedding, every funeral, every event that needs to be celebrated, all of us are there.
Do you feel like across all the people that you've spoken to
Yep.
in regards to organized crime, they all have the similar trait where they always focus on the community in that sense? That's why they're so strong.
They don't say there's a community.
Obviously
right?
they don't.
But they say that's my brother, that's my brother.
But that's
my
your
brother.
observation,
Yes. If you want to bundle it up, then it's from an academic perspective, then we can put it as a community thing, right?
I also don't want to touch into too detailed stuff, but do you feel like we live in a society, right, that's actually so many pockets of this happening and then we actually don't really observe it?
Yes, I think we do as well, because one thing we must understand about organized crime is that it doesn't really affect you and me on a daily basis, right? We can still go to work, we can come back, they are not there, stopping people from getting on the train or the bus, nothing like that, right? It's a business, right? It's all about money. And that's the thing when it comes to money, right? Your life is of no value, money comes first. Right, so that's why it's okay. This is scam centers as well. Now there's this whole thing about scam centers, right? Why is it that they are okay to scam you? It's very organized, right? How it's done, it's very organized, right? But why is it okay for them to scam you? Because they're like, look, I'm not disrupting I'm not breaking into your house and slashing you, right?
Yeah.
That creates fear of crime. Whereas this doesn't create fear of crime, right? So there are two different categories, right? There's crime that creates fear of crime and crime that doesn't. I give you an example. Like one of it is I break into your house and I slash you. You want to stay in your house, so the next day you cannot sleep in your house.
Yeah.
But if you get a scam call in your house, you're still going to sleep in your house. Right? So that's the main difference.
Wow. Do you think a majority of crime is actually going in that trajectory where they are not so confrontational anymore?
That's what most of it is, right? That's where the money is. That's why it's in billions of ringgit already, right? When it comes to just scams alone, right? They call it commercial crime, right? It's in billions of ringgit, right? Whereas when you see the street crime and all, the snatch theft and all, it's still there.
Petty, actually.
It's still there, but it's petty theft, but it's still there, right? But you want to make big money?
It's organized crime.
It's organized, yeah.
Wow. If your resume is now by job street or some shit like that, that's stupid shit, bro.
Okay, one thing you must understand about sometimes the scams, you and me might look at it like, oh my God, it's so stupid, but it's designed that way. Because if it's already so stupid to begin with and you can be gullible enough to fall for it,
then you are willing to go there.
Then I know you are definitely somebody I can get money from.
Bro.
Right.
Sorry, can
So just say now, the scam is so stupid, right? It's like, why would anyone fall for this? But if you fall for something that nobody else is falling for, that means I know you're gullible enough
you're
for
a
me.
gold mine lah,
Yes, you're a gold mine. I'm going to get so much money from you, man.
Because I mean, it's always they say I'm from George Street, but it's like 017
yeah.
or 012. lah.
I don't know.
Yeah, you know, your resume has been this thing. Please, yeah. Right. And then if you decide to still stay on, then be like, this guy.
Or maybe you're so
definitely-
desperate lah. You know, if like Job Street says that and you're really desperate.
Yeah,
and
you're
then
really desperate for a
So
job.
like you're desperate for a job, but you have a
I think there are two scams that I really want to ask you about. So there's the job one and the love one. So I've experienced the love one,
Okay.
but I want to ask you about this job one first, because I never really entertain job scam
Okay.
because to me it's not interesting. Love scams are more interesting to
Okay.
entertain. But for job scams, right? Like how do they treat you, the tactics that they use to treat you? So I'm going to describe it. It's still where I miss out or add too much, right? So they'll call you, and then obviously you are probably someone, you know, the economy is difficult, then you don't have a job, and so they're going to say your resume is whatever. And then they're going to offer you a salary. And so the salary is, I don't know what the range is, but it's probably going to be like maybe close to 5 figures or whatever.
Good salary lah.
Good salary.
Yep.
And then the victim would say, okay, can. So after that, what happens? Do they say, okay, now you have to go to this area, or you have to bank in money first? How do
So
they
there are a
start?
few ways of this, right? The ones that are there just to really just scam you out of money will say that, okay, we have looked at your resume. Now we just need you to bank in a small processing fee, right? So that one is that normally is a few hundred. And then how normally people get into it is that, okay, now I bank in 500, right? And then they suddenly call you back, oh no, we need you to bank in another 100. And then you bank in another 100. And then after they come again, another 100. So they keep doing it until you say, hey, look, I cannot bank in already. Then you say, look, you've already given me 1,000. This is the last one.
Sunk cost fallacy. Okay.
And then you at the end of it, like, okay, maybe it really is the last one. I've already given this 1,000. Then they say, look, if you do this last one, at least I can, after this, refund your money back. If I stop here, I cannot give you back your money. So, you know, it's like, oh,
you're stuck between a hard place, a rock and a hard place.
Yeah. So you give, right? Because you want to believe it's real. Because you want the job. So that's the small one. The bigger ones, which is now the dangerous one, where they actually scam because they want you as an individual, is the job scams where they will, like I said, you know, you will get offered a job, a crazy good amount of salary overseas.
And they traffic you, right?
And then they traffic you.
No way.
Yes.
They traffic your ass.
They
lah.
traffic
You'll
you.
be in like Cambodia or
Yeah.
something.
No way,
Yes,
bro.
Yeah.
That's why, you know, like in Thailand, the queen had to go to China to beg Chinese tourists to come back because they came out with a
They
documentary.
back Chinese tourists to come back to
So
Thailand.
now Chinese tourists in Thailand is plummeting because there was a movie.
Oh
they
yeah,
showed-
No More
shows-
Bets. That was very
it's
good
called
on
No More
Netflix.
Bets. So
no
they-
one, what?
No More
More
Bets on Netflix.
So they scam even people from China right,
Yeah.
to come, and then they traffic people.
No
so,
way,
So the
bro.
queen of Thailand had to go to
Wow.
China and back and say, please, we are actually safe and all that. Please
Yeah.
come back. And that's why in Malaysia, we've got a boom of Chinese tourists. That's why we have, if I'm not mistaken, we have overtaken Thailand as the most.
really, yeah?
Like, very neck and neck. Usually it's always Thailand because that's their economy.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
have
yeah.
like neck and neck almost.
Wow.
Can you just search No More Bets first
Yeah.
on Netflix?
So-
that I
it's
can-
very good. Very good movie.
That is like the next.
Oh, I can't wait to watch it tonight. Fuck
Oh,
it.
it is. It's a very good
Bets.
movie. And it's based on a true story. Here
Yeah.
and there, you know, it's been this thing, but it's based on a
No
true story.
More Bets.
No More
Okay, so
Bets.
so like the processing fee one, those are like
Just a
simple.
small,
one,
the
that is
small guys
pocket
lah.
change, right?
Yes, pocket change, right?
But this one is they ask you to
This is the one, yes.
Okay,
they'll
I'll
ask
check
you
it out
to
tonight.
meet at a particular place, and that's where they nab you and
Yeah, so I was just watching a report by United Nations, and this lady who was trafficked, she was sharing how she became a victim from the Philippines. Same thing, they offered her a job, told her it was in Thailand, bought her the flight ticket and all. She came
Bought
to
her the ticket?
Yes. Bought her the ticket.
it's a small
She-
price to pay.
Small price
for the
to pay.
ROI, bro.
They bring her to Thailand. Then she gets into the van where they're going to take her to the office, right?
Fuck.
And suddenly they're driving like 8 hours. They've taken her passport and all from her because normally, oh, agent, hey, hi, welcome, come. Let me take everything for you. I just need your passport for processing. Come, take everything. Get into the van. Now here's your passport, right? Drive 8 hours to the border, and then they traffic her into Cambodia. And Cambodia had this major scam center. like proper buildings. You've got a building for
No
makan,
kidding.
you've got a building for sleeping, you've got a building for recreation, you've got a building to do the work, right?
It's like a mini town.
It is like a small this thing lah, a small complex lah.
So it's illegal. The whole thing there is illegal. They just
Well, they built it, so they must have had some sort of approval.
Oh,
but it's
no.
fully a scam center. And then basically now they trafficked you, they make you work as a scammer. So you're forced to into it. Right? So pretty lady, right? So she used to tell, they used to beat her when she didn't hit the KPIs or if she didn't want to do it. So what they go through first is the first process, right? If you don't want to participate, you get whacking, cow whacking, right?
Yeah.
They force you into it. And then after that, when you go through this whole process, you got no choice. Like, what are you going to do?
What the
You're
fuck?
older,
You don't have your phone or that also. They take away everything.
everything lah.
Bruh.
Right? So
Bro. Oh my
And
god.
Malaysians are victims.
victims
of
and be victims. There were how many people we just brought back? Malaysia, Thailand, and all worked together with Cambodia and all brought back quite a few. Right?
Oh
So,
my god.
Yeah.
I went to Cambodia for work
Careful, huh?
and that time I was having a cigarette with my friend. And then I saw a dark alleyway. And then I'm like, maybe don't smoke there. We smoke in the brighter area. Then I smoke in the brighter area. Then after that, my friend told me, actually Cambodia got kidnappings. No,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
way,
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah.
That's when I like, wow.
Must be very careful.
Wow, man. That's wild, bro.
Yeah.
It's so organized that they kidnap people like that.
Yeah. And when you go to
Shit,
places, maybe you're paid a salary, maybe you're not, I don't know, but you live in that area. As long as you comply, you're good lah. Right? So it's crazy.
But it's good to know that the government actually is
Yeah.
able to bring this film.
Yes.
Have you spoken to people that you spoke to that person in person? Like
Oh no!
regarding-
This was an interview by UN. They
I see.
published it, so I watched that video.
I would love to meet someone.
I would love to. So I've not had the opportunity, but I would love to.
Bro, you just kind of host it together.
yeah,
Then you just
please,
talk to
man.
that person. That'd be
Yeah.
crazy, bro. That'd be
Yeah.
crazy, bro.
Yeah,
An ex like person who kena scam. But I don't know how dangerous it would be. Like, is it dangerous?
I don't know. Whoever can scam before, if you want to come on the podcast, I'm sure Yamcha would be.
Bro,
happy.
that would
They
be-
will blur your face out. I'm sure they would do that.
But will we
Change the voice.
Yeah, change the voice.
That would be so wild, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man.
Yeah.
So like basically a lot of the governments acknowledge this and then they bring the people back to
They work together with the enforcement agencies lah to bring them
my
back.
god, man. That is so scary, dude.
Yeah.
They could say like you working for some big company, so then you go there also can, right?
Yeah. And then you go there, you be scammed. That's why it's so important to do your due diligence lah before you get this kind of jobs and all, right? Most people don't. And that's the problem with it. You suddenly, I got job overseas, or maybe you're just not literate enough to do these kind of things, right? And then that's how you become a victim.
Oh damn, man. That is so sad,
It
bro.
memang very sad. Memang very sad.
That's so sad. Okay, apart from the job scams, you were saying you're talking about love
Love
scams, right?
Yeah, so love scams one, I think, so I share my experience. I've had two. So
You scam somebody or somebody scam you?
do I look like I can scam, love scam?
Can, MJ. In my books, you can.
With all the AI and all you can.
So this was my first experience was, prior to meeting my girlfriend, I was on dating apps. And so dating apps is one area that they use. So I don't take anything for granted, but I feel why I have some sort of immunity for love scams, as I mentioned before the podcast, is that when a girl outside my league start to chat me up, I know it's a scam. I do not have a lot of confidence.
I am the same.
So someone looks like a model or whatever. So my first experience was like this girl from, actually I got three now to mention, so it's a bit long story. But the first one was obviously a very good looking girl. She said that she was from Hong Kong and she asked me what I do. And then I said I'm in the stock market. And then suddenly she said, hey, can I buy this share? Blah, blah, blah. Then I got this tip. Would you like to put in some money in Hong Kong? I'm connected. Then she showed that she's in like her Lamborghini, things like that, right? So that's like the mildest one. The second one was a Korean actually. So she was this one was a lot more upfront because the first one was more like flirtatious and things like that. This one was straight up. They asked to, hey, would you like to see me naked and things like that.
Yep.
So for me, I know it's a love scam because again, no one that good looking would ever chat me up. But I'm always interested. I think similar like you, where I just want to see like what's
how
in
they
trend
go.
nowadays,
Yeah.
right? What are the tactics they use? And they're like, oh, you want to see me? I was like, I'm a guy, so okay.
Why not?
So see, and so I also read somewhere that a lot of these people, when they say they're naked, they actually pre-recorded videos, right? So I was going into with that mindset, it's going to be a pre-recorded video, so I'm going to see if I can like catch them out, So then we started chatting, and then so she was naked and all that. So then I say, hey, like, can you give me a peace sign? I just asked her. So because if I do that, then this is pre-AI, then I know it's not video. So she did it.
Oh wow, okay.
So the minute she did it, then she said, okay, so I'm naked already. Can you get naked now? So now I know that is their whole stick, because they want you to get naked.
Then
so
they record it and then they blackmail you.
Yeah, they blackmail you.
Wow.
So that I turn it off.
Wait, so
it's like a free show, right?
but so did she show her face?
She showed her face, everything. No, everything.
Yeah,
Wow.
But again, some of these people are forced into this, and you must understand as well.
So that's one thing I maybe I'm not familiar with. So that was the second one. But I think the third one is the most extreme one, because so the exact same thing, right? She was naked and she was a real person, right? But then I'm like, okay, this is the same tactic as the ones I experienced before. So I'm like, okay, but I'm not entertaining this anymore. But what she did was she actually snapshot like my face in the FaceTime.
Yep.
And then she because this one was an Instagram scam.
Okay.
So the first one was a
Instagram
dating app. Second was Facebook. This one was an Instagram. So this one, she got my Instagram account. That happened, and she started saying, "Why are you ignoring me?"
Wow.
So then she starts guilt tripping me.
Okay.
And then she suddenly sends me like 30 images and videos of me basically watching her. Right?
Okay.
And she said, if you don't come back to me now, I'm going to send it to all your female friends on Instagram.
Okay.
Then she sent the whole thing.
Oh.
I just blocked her.
Okay. So yeah, you have that. That's what they do, right? They blackmail you. They blackmail you, right? And the minute you pay 1 cent, it never stops, because like, no, it's not enough. One more. It never stops.
Yeah. So even though I have to share, right? Like even though I was aware, emotionally I could feel the power of the scam. I was like, whoa, right? Because all I know is this: whenever I'm dealt with a love scam, right? I know I can never get naked, right? Because that's it, right? So in that sense, it's safe, but it's still, I still feel like, wow, imagine if someone else
was in that point of desperation.
I think
true. That's how a lot of these underage kids, not one of them underage, but even like people that come from very conservative families, suddenly when they get caught doing this, they be like, oh no, my family is going to find out, and then they end up paying that blackmail, or they end up sometimes taking their own life. Those are the kind of things,
Miss
right?
Pui.
Yes, okay. Miss Pui, I've never met her, but I heard the story as well, right? Somebody under blackmailer, she said, look, before you blackmail me, I'm just going to release everything myself, right?
Yes.
So you beat the scammers at their game, so sometimes it's like, right? So some people have this thing where you get people contacting them. I don't have that problem. No women ever gets in touch with me. They're like too ugly.
Same, like, all three of us. That's why we're doing this.
All guys really always message me. I was like, no girl messages me. Stop being single. So that's the thing, right? When you have this thing, right, especially single guys, sometimes like when you spoke about, you don't have that confidence for that. That's what they bank on, right? Because they're like, okay, I know this guy, you show them the smallest attention, the littlest attention, we are going to
biggest
get them.
Payoff.
Biggest payoff, right? So
has it changed? Is it the same type of trend?
No, you'll have these trends going on, because especially with technology, the only difference is probably now sometimes it's probably just an AI behind it and not.
Yeah, I think that will be the new future. We don't know how they're going to use it.
They maybe deepfake themselves.
If you've seen the newest Google VEOs videos.
Crazy, so good.
The rendering is mad.
But I do want to share one more scam that I didn't face.
Okay.
That actually my friend's dad, I think, lost 300,000 to 400,000.
Oh my God.
So it's actually so the context is that my friend's dad is a retiree.
Okay.
So the good thing is that his house payout, everything is paid off. But because of losing his money, he had to refinance the house. So and he's in his almost 70.
Man.
But the way they did it was they basically do this thing called binary options. So binary options are financial instruments where you basically make a bet whether the thing will go up or go down. So what they do is they'll say this particular scam was a company from Israel, and it approach my friend's dad, and then he says, "Hey, look, I have this thing. Are you interested?" So their website looks, pretty fancy and all that. And then they'll say, "Okay, if you want, this is like the first tranche. We try and guarantee returns." And then they'll say, "Okay, look, you put this amount, we can try and get this to you." Okay. So the first red flag was that the bank account was Polish.
Okay.
Okay, but it's Israeli company. So then they will say, "Okay, you put in this money." I think the first tranche my friend's dad put in is probably about 80,000, 60, 80,000.
Damn.
So then they'll put it in a bank account, then you can log in and access to see your portfolio. And then you will go, then you will make, let's say, 30% gain, right?
They show you the 30% gain.
Yeah, they'll show you.
Okay.
So usually by then they're addicted, then they'll say like, "Okay, do you want more?" And they say, yeah, why not, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so then a few years later they'll show you, okay, there's a new gain and all that. So then after a while, a lot of people will feel like my friends there will feel like, wow, it's such a quick gain in such a short time. Maybe let's just lock in my gains.
Okay.
So maybe let's sell my profits and then I retain the capital or just take out totally. So that is the first and I know that the scammers are predicting this really. So when you ask for the money back, you say, "Okay, yeah, sure, no problem, we give you money, but you need to pay taxes. Because you made a profit, so you need to pay tax."
Yep.
So if you don't know, if you don't have like financial common sense, right, you'll be like, "Yeah, sure, I'll pay tax." Like how much? So then they gave a figure like, at that point in time, because you made a lot of profit, so you have to pay 19,000. So if you don't know how to do the math, right, even 19,000 on that gain in that specific scenario doesn't make sense. Well, no tax should be about that amount. So my friend's dad paid
19,000. Okay.
Wow.
Then after that, they'll give some other excuse. "No, actually, we have this other thing, the other thing." Like the whole processing fee.
Yeah.
But this one is very, very high because this is more financial scam.
Yeah.
Wow.
But if you know at financial common sense, right? If you made a gain in the asset, right? Can you not take the tax from the profit?
Yeah lah.
Yeah
Why
lah,
must take it from the invested money inside?
Correct. So in total, the damage was about 300 to 400.
Wow, my
thousand.
God,
Because
that's
it's sunk
crazy.
cost, you're like, I need to recoup
The money that I put in.
that let's say I made 100,000.
Yeah.
So then I just need to pay 19 to get back that 100.
Yeah.
But end up you give them the further 119,000
Yeah. Oh
basically.
shit.
Wow.
So
Crazy.
it's a binary option scam and all that. Yeah.
There you go.
Crazy. But that's the thing, right? When we ask criminals, how do we target people and all, the psychology behind it is that people are always two things, right? People are always fearful and you're always greedy.
Greedy, yes.
So it's one of these two things.
take advantage,
You
yeah.
take advantage of that lah. When you look at the psychology of criminals, right? The psychology of victims, that's what you will want to bank on.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I was just explaining to him like one of the reasons why in a weird way I respect a lot of these organized criminals is because they really understand human nature at a very root level.
Yes.
So one of the guys I follow a lot online is a former mafia guy, Michael Francesi.
Oh,
I'm sure you know him.
yeah.
When you listen to him,
He speaks very well. Yeah.
honestly, you don't even know he's like an ex-mob boss. He was pretty high up. He wasn't a boss, but he was.
The
You see the
conciliatory or
slick
something
back
like-
hair one?
Basically, he was like, I think John Gotti's era, right? That legendary mafia
Yeah.
era, like they call it the silver age or golden age of mafia or whatever. And when you listen to him, like the lessons, the things, it's like a very wise
He
person.
sits around dining tables, like when they makan together, and he talks to other people also about this one, I remember.
Yeah, but he does quite a bit.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
guy,
yeah.
Michael Francesi, yeah.
It's unbelievable. But now he's reformed and then he's creating content about this.
Wow.
But he also talks a lot about, when you see a lot of his content, he talks about the same thing that we spoke about, right? How do you apply organized crime into your organization? Organized crime methods into
Yeah.
your organization,
Oh
right?
shit.
Yeah, so that's what he does. He talks about leadership. He talks about, creating loyalty. He talks
Negotiation.
About negotiation,
Because
yeah.
he's kind of like he's negotiating with
Other
yeah.
mob bosses,
Yeah.
yeah. So you gotta be able to read the room real quick.
That's why, I mean, in a way, like what Trump is now.
He's
What gives him the confidence, I think, is the fact that he probably negotiated with mob bosses, union bosses before.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he
no
knows,
shit. That
like,
makes so much sense.
The game. No, in fact, I think Trump's mentor, Roy Cohn, was a lawyer for the mob.
Oh,
Oh
damn.
wow, really? Wow,
Yeah.
interesting.
That's why you look at Trump, the way he goes about things is you feel like he's a mob boss, right?
A bit, He's like, you don't have the cards. We got the cards.
Yeah. I mean, his style lah. But one thing I learned about this Wednesday is like even among mob bosses, there are different types.
Yep.
There's some that no fuss, no problem. Some will kick up a fuss and cause a commotion like what Trump is doing and then negotiate, So very, very interesting. That's why if you learn from mob bosses, I feel like you can learn a lot more than say like a CEO or whatever.
Yeah.
Because technically they are a CEO, but the difference between the CEO is that if the CEO gets it wrong, he gets fired.
Yeah.
If the mob boss gets it wrong, he dies.
Yeah.
So that mob boss
There's a lot more to lose.
Not more
get it
to
right.
lose. Yeah.
Wow.
That's true.
Damn.
It's more high risk situations, right?
Yeah.
I want to add on to the love scam first before we move forward to organized crime, right? Because I did see a couple of, no, just one in particular that really, I don't know why, just creeped the shit out of me. It's about child grooming. That shit, that video you posted on child grooming, that white guy in makeup,
Yeah.
is the creepiest shit I've seen since Courage the Cowardly Dog. Like I
feel like for those type, I think even organized criminals will feel like that's too low for us. I don't know. Could be. I don't know.
It depends on the type of crime they're in.
It is it's so weird, bro. It's so weird to watch that shit. And I don't know whether it was intentional, but you let that video go on for a longer time than your normal videos, bro. It was so creepy. What is the scene in Malaysia when it comes to child grooming and pedophilia? I want to know.
Okay, so,
wait, hold on. Sorry.
Yeah.
Is it a car? Oh, I think it passed already. Sorry. Yeah, I want to know what the scene is in Malaysia. Is it gotten worse?
So Malaysia is the highest viewers of child pornography in Southeast Asia.
What in the fuck, bro?
This was, I think, some time ago. Someone released a report. I can't remember which agency released a report. In Southeast Asia, we are the highest consumers. Malaysia is the highest consumer of child pornography. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. Right, so
it's a question that can be like taken the wrong way. But how do you even get access to? That?
Oh, okay. So there are a few ways. You've got Telegram groups.
Oh my god.
So you've got Telegram groups. I'll share with you this. There was this case, Malaysia. This lady, she was a divorcee. She has a daughter, and she had a boyfriend. Her boyfriend used to rape her daughter, right? No, I know how y'all are reacting. That's not the worst part yet.
No,
that's not the worst part yet. Let's see whether you're going in the same direction, whether your thought process is going the same direction. So it gets worse.
I think this video is going to get shadow banned now. Got all the keywords.
It's okay. I'm learning from this. It's all right.
So, what's this? So while the boyfriend is raping her daughter, she records those videos and she sells it on Telegram.
No way, bro.
Mother.
She's a complicit.
Yes, mother. Mother let the daughter get raped, records it, and uploads.
This is in Malaysia.
Malaysia.
I want to ask also, and you might see it as a racist thing, but is it because of child marriages in Malaysia? Is that one of the key components that allows the culture to go to that point where it's so common? Because throughout Southeast Asia, from what I know, I don't think there are child marriages apart from Malaysia.
Okay. Let's debunk something. A lot of people always think, and this is the narrative, and which I feel media has been a bit one-sided about this, is that the narrative has been like, child marriage, Islam, child marriage, Islam. No, go to Sabah, Sarawak.
Oh, is it very common there as well?
It's quite common over there as well. They are not Muslims, right? It's as long as the penghulu in the kampung gives permission, yes, it happens, right?
I see.
So that's the thing. Okay, for me, I understand if just say the boy is 16 years old, the girl is 16 years old, makes sense, right? Even
they're close to
that age. Even our great grandparents, and that's the age they got married at, right?
I think what you're referring to is pre-pubescent.
Yes, pre-pubescent ones are crazy, right? Those
Yeah.
are the scary ones, right? But my question is this, right? And as much as is allowed in the religion for you to marry, but my question is this: why does a 43-year-old guy or 40-year-old guy want to marry a 13-year-old?
Yeah.
Even let's talk about even after it's not
Puberty,
even pre-pubescent, right? You've already hit puberty. But why does a 43-year-old guy need to marry a 13-year-old? Why? Right? He says, no, the girl is poor, I want to take care of her. Yeah, you can just give money. Why you want to marry? Right? So that's the thing. And remember that case when they interviewed the father said, look, I've got 5 kids over here. He's very poor. if my daughter can have a good life somewhere else, why not? Why not? Right? So sometimes it's due to poverty as well why these things happen. Right? So
in this case where the mom
records.
films,
yeah.
Is it
is it really poverty in this
No,
case?
no. It's just some people have weird kinks, right?
my God.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? You've got weird stuff that people do just for
It's the
kink.
PDD case, bro.
Yeah,
It's the PDD case right now, bro. It's some weird shit I've been listening to, man.
Yeah, and you've got weird stuff that Malaysians do as well, right? So
And genuine question, like how much do they even like charge? I assume they can make tons of money from
it's
this.
not so much of the money also, right?
really? Wow.
It's a passion project, really.
It's a passion project, lah,
Wow.
right? It's what gets
Wow.
them off, right? A lot of these people don't do it for. Don't forget, the worst pedophile in the world was caught in Malaysia.
Huh.
Okay, but he was not a Malaysian, like he was not a Malaysian.
He was in UK, right? I think was it?
He's a British guy. Came to Malaysia under the church to do missionary work over here.
No, bro.
Yes.
You serious?
Yes, here's the biggest thing about pedophiles. They will always use, one of the things about pedophiles is that they always use religion as a way to cover up their tracks, right? And the biggest problem with people, and I've been very open about this, and I always say this, the biggest problem with people is that because the person used religion as a way to come in, we cover it up because they don't want, then the name of the religion will be stained, right? I think that's the stupidest thing a person can say, because you should be upset that the person is
using your
your religion as a means to commit crime.
Yeah.
And you are backing this person up. No, let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about it because the person is this religion person. That's really nonsense. You should be even more upset. It happens in every religion. There are certain religion communities that don't allow me to come in because they're upset at things I've said. Or I've had people come to me and say, hey, I've been a victim at this place. And when I go and I try to help them mediate this thing or sort this out, and they don't like me there, right? So there are certain things that it happens in every religion community, right? But there are some which are very good. They actually understand this happens and they actually take effort to actually combat it, right? There's this one church, I forgot the name of the church, but the pastor's name is Pastor Calvin, right? Amazing guy. He understands these things happen. He in fact created an app called the Be My Protector app. So if you're a victim of abuse, you're a victim of sexual abuse, you see trafficking, anything you can report it to the app. He will try to work something out, be with the authorities to help you.
Wow.
Amazing, right? In fact, when I always tell people, more people should be like this pastor, right? You actually understand that there's a problem, and instead of hiding behind the name of religion, you're using religion as a means to say, look, I'm going to use it
To combat.
it, right? Yeah. So the worst pedophile was caught in Malaysia, right?
What's his name?
Richard Huckle.
Wow.
Richard Huckle, this guy
Ayo.
had a book released on the dark web. It's like a pedophile 101.
No,
Right. How
Serious
to be a pedophile.
shit.
It's crazy the things he wrote in there. I've seen excerpts of it, right? Richard
Wow.
Huckle, that's the guy, right? Crazy fella. Right?
He has that look.
He has the look. But here's the thing, as much as you say he has the look, don't forget Mat Saleh come here, we have this different thing. After he was caught, they went and interviewed the families of the victims, and yet people were in denial. No, this guy wouldn't have done this to my daughter. No, this guy wouldn't have done this to my son. That's the crazy thing. Even after he was caught, people were in denial.
Bro,
Right, that
this guy did part-time photography for Nike footballs or more, bro.
It's written there.
14 counts of rape of a child under the age of 13, prepubescent.
Yeah, it's related to 20,000 images. Here's the thing. Malaysia also had this case. There was this Malaysian guy who was overseas, I think in US or UK or something. He was caught with child pornography.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so that's the difference. There's a difference between a pedophile and having pedophilic tendencies. Two different things. A pedophile, having pedophilic tendencies, technically not wrong. Right? Not wrong by law, because you have not acted on it. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yes.
think, just is in your thought, right? It's like, I think I want to kill a guy, but I don't kill a guy. Not wrong.
Yeah.
But when you act on it, that's when you're a
Bro,
pedophile.
yeah.
So this guy was caught for having child pornography, right? Got caught, served his time, came back to Malaysia. You know what Malaysia did for him? They gave him scholarship to do masters.
Oh yeah, I've heard this story somewhere.
Yeah. We rewarded him. That scholarship could have gone to someone else, but it went to a guy who was caught with... I'm not saying, okay, maybe he's reformed. That's besides, sorry. Somebody else could have benefited from that scholarship. But no, we rewarded this guy. Right? So why else do you think we have so many cases of
Wow.
pedophilia in Malaysia?
Wow.
Yeah, so pedophilia is the thing in Malaysia, like you said, right? One of the highest in Southeast Asia.
Bro, you know, I'm literally scared to have Telegram on my phone because of that shit. I'm literally scared. I just don't know, because like some people just send links and shit.
Yeah, just delete it lah. Once you get it, just delete it lah.
Bro, I delete Telegram, bro. I don't use Telegram, bro. I don't use Telegram.
Signal
bro.
is safer,
Yeah, bro.
right? So that's the thing, right? The thing with I've sat down with a lot of people who have had sexual intercourses with underage kids, and it's normally a very, very weird thing, right? To us, it's very weird, but to them, one thing I've understood when it comes to lust, you can somehow justify anything when you are in that high. Anything you do is suddenly okay. It's not wrong.
Damn.
After everything is done, only then you feel bad. While you're in that mode, anything is okay.
Damn.
Right? Why is it okay? Let's look at some very basic. We don't even need to go into the exact numbers, but let's say, okay, when we look at prepubescent children, okay, boys and girls both are victims of sexual abuse, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so when it comes to girls, given, right? Because you got a lot of gatal guys out there, but who are doing it to these boys?
Bro, that's some mad shit, bro.
Right? So you've got people who will look at a child and say, I want to have sex with this child.
My God.
So that's how sick people are, right?
But is it true for the guys when a lot of it is like same sex?
Yeah, lah.
Yeah, it is, right? You have women as well who have taken advantage of boys, but it doesn't come up because why?
Bro, that one.
That's a high fire, right?
That's like a high five thing,
champ,
but
bro.
that's the thing, right? That's the thing, right? Is that we are programmed that way already.
Yeah.
We are programmed that way. Actually, I give a very good simple example. Even how when sometimes we talk about other people's children as well, right? Just say, let's just say you have a daughter, very beautiful, right? And somebody might come up to you and say, "Wow, you're so beautiful. One day you'll make a very beautiful bride." Right? Why is that? Why is it immediately we look at that as well? Just say you've got a very handsome son. What people say, oh man, you're going to be a heartbreaker one day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We already from young, we've been teaching children that that's the way moving forward, right? We don't go and tell children like, oh my God, you are a very caring boy. You are a very thoughtful girl. We don't put on those positive values.
Yeah.
We straight away go by, handsome boy. Yeah, the physical thing.
I'll
right?
be very rich in the future.
You'll be very rich. Oh, you got big earlobes. You're going to be very rich.
Yeah,
Very good for you, right?
yeah.
We go towards that part. We don't talk about actually raising children to actually have that sort of characteristics that you would want.
Wow.
So that's the problem as well.
Have because Malaysia is so prevalent with pedophilia, right?
Yep.
Have other countries also taken advantage of this over here?
So we are one of it, right? But even if you go to like other countries, poor countries, right? You go to Thailand, you go to certain African nations and all, you will see old men with kids, right? You see in Cambodia, it's a big thing. That's why they've got big signs over there, we take child, sexual abuse very seriously. You've got big signs, whether they do or not, I don't know. But you've got very big signs over there. Because you get these foreign tourists come to a third world country.
No way.
And people will pay, right? Because these guys are willing to pay. People will let their children go and be victims, right? There was a small documentary done, right? And they had videos of all these old white men, big bellies and all, and they will be sitting down with these black kids and African kids and all, right? And what do you think you're doing with them?
Damn, bro.
Yeah, same thing. In these third world countries, this is what happens, right? They go to these small villages, It's like a whole industry there.
Yeah, man.
Right? Like, okay, people will sell their kids for this. Because they are so poor, this is the way of getting money.
I also want to ask, I know this is a little bit of a tangent from pedophilia, but I just want to ask. So, when you go and you see a lot of like people who are begging for money.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, there's more water there.
Oh,
if you
yeah,
want.
no, sure.
Yeah. So if you see a lot of people begging and sometimes they have like burnt marks, sometimes they have like they have no eyelids.
Yep.
And what was so strange is that just earlier this year I went to Shenzhen. And when I was walking around, I saw three people begging for money and very similar injuries. No eyelids.
Yep.
No lips, almost no nose,
Yep.
no limbs, but they are there only in the day. At night, they're not there. Because I was out there in the day, I went for my meetings, and then when I was coming back at night, going for dinner, I'm like, they're not here. But the next day I went back, they're there again. So I'm also wondering, right, do these organized crime, do they operate in that sense where they create syndicates like this? Do they kidnap, once they have no use, they start to amputate, and then they...
So if you watch the movie, like I'll give the experience in India. I've been in India, I've seen similar to what you've seen, right? You watched the movie Slumdog Millionaire?
Bro, yeah.
Yeah, basically the guy explains how the syndicate works as well. So same thing, they will take these homeless kids or they kidnap kids and it's money making, right? They will, when I was in India, I saw people begging for money and they didn't have fingers. And I know it was cut off because...
It's a straight line.
Not only that, the bone is still sticking out.
Bro.
Right? So I'm like, oh man...
Bro, the bone is still
The
sticking.
bone sticking out, like, right? So I was like, oh man, this first they just chop, chinchai, chop, like that. You know, it heals, so it went in a bit. And
The bone is out there.
the bone is out there, right? So these people are forced to beg. They are caught, they are tortured, and then they are go sent out to beg because that's where you get the money from. And people feel kasihan, then they give money.
Do you? I'm going to assume you're in the camp of don't donate lah.
No, don't donate lah, because then you encourage it, right?
Yeah.
Of course, it's a double-edged sword, right? You don't donate, these guys don't earn a living, they get beating, right? But then the more you donate,
More people are going to.
But
go
it's
to
not
it.
your fault for making whatever decision.
no lah. But at the end, I say it comes back to authorities, because authorities let this thing work out, right? Let the syndicates operate. So yeah, when there's always demand, there's always supply.
But you know, I feel perhaps I don't think there's a scam out there that I feel more strongly about, or rather that is as bad lah. Could be wrong. I mean, but this is subjective view. I feel the one of the biggest abuses out there is actually forced organ harvesting. I don't know if you know.
Wow, forced organ harvesting.
It's a China. So in China, so typically even in a first world country, right? If you want an organ transplant for your type,
Your blood type. Yeah.
and you know with organ transplant, right? You want to get from people below 30 because they have the best organs, right? So even in a first world country, you still need months, maybe if you're lucky, maybe weeks to get it. In China, 7 days.
Wow.
And then if you pay up more, 2 days.
Wow.
So do you know how they do it?
Bro, what?
So the way they do it is that because there are certain minorities in China that the government don't like.
No.
Correct. You type in this group called Falun Gong. This one, you mention this name in China, you'll be clamped down for sure. You type FALUN Gong organ housing, and they are by the tens of millions.
Okay.
No way, bro.
So because they become political, yes,
Bro.
Okay.
they become political like pariahs basically. So they would. I don't know whether the authorities are
ban
involved,
on them,
but it sounds like they are. Basically, they would harvest organs from this.
Okay.
People from around the world, if you want a healthy liver, and then there's a whole tier one. Liver is on top, the number one, and followed by like kidney, then maybe lungs, heart, and all that. You want it fast?
Bro, how do you know this, bro? TikTok.
No. This one this was a news 10 years ago because my uncle who used to go to China to work, right? He would tell me all these like stories that I thought was quite paranoid. So I didn't really believe them. But the stories he would share would be like even 5-star hotels, white guy, you know, he would just go there for a business trip. And then suddenly this attractive Chinese lady will chat him up. Hey, would you like buy you a drink?
Yeah.
So obviously the drink is spiked.
So
So he would do that. Of course, what's the risk, right? I mean, 5-star hotels, who cares? So that happened, and then drink, of course, you get spiked. When he woke up, he was in a bathtub.
Oh
of
shit,
ice.
it's an ice bar. Oh shit.
And then there's a note there that say call this number and it's an ambulance. Both his kidneys were lost.
Oh no.
And then like the bathtub was red.
Blood lah.
So at least those guys were nice enough to say, please
call.
And you know what's scary is that the transplant, right, was done with surgical precision, meaning
That means it has to be a doctor lah.
doctors were involved.
Yeah.
And all
It's
that.
fast.
So there's a
Damn.
good chance that even the governments are involved in this.
Wow.
Because the organs they're getting from, these are like foreigners, and then of course political pariahs also. They say, don't care, they're basically not citizens and they're subhuman or whatever. So we're just gonna harvest.
Oh,
They're gonna give it, and we're gonna send it's a few billion US dollar
my
market,
God,
and there'll be a market for it, right? There's be a lot of old people who
who have a lot of money, but
a lot
they
of
need
money,
to-
but their health deteriorating. They need a transplant.
Wow.
but that's the thing lah, bro. Anything that
I've heard
has
this. It's one of
that
the
has
worst,
demand, they will always be supply lah.
Exactly. So you gotta read up like organ harvesting.
That's
It's
crazy.
one of the
That
one of the
is
worst.
madness.
So that's why my uncle tell me, right, even when you go to China, 9 o'clock, he's in his room. Don't go up at all.
Oh, crazy.
Only in the morning, go out for work, come back 9 o'clock.
I was out there till 3 a.m, bro.
Shit. For us, no problem. Nobody comes and talks to us.
That's why.
I mean, for I would like to think China is better today because these stories were maybe 15 years ago.
Okay.
But I suspect it's still going on now, right? I mean, usually it's still
You've
going
got
on.
how many
lah.
billion people there?
Yeah, so today it's the same story, right? A lot of them are also poor,
Yeah.
and things like, so they'll do things like that. But be safe. lah.
That is such.
That is one. I
scary
think
thought.
up to today, after 15 years hearing, I still feel like it's one of the worst or like.
I
up
think
there.
that's probably like just on par with
Because
pedophilia.
even if
for
you're
me lah.
traffic,
Yeah,
right?
it's
If you're
crazy.
traffic, at least you get traumatized, but at least you can continue lah. But this one is like one of your organs just
Man, it's crazy. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, man. Dude, I don't even know how to fucking recover from that lah. Okay.
But coming back to this pedophilia one, the one thing which I always tell people as well is we tend to let our guard down in religious settings, right? Like I always said, the nicest looking people are sometimes the worst people you will ever meet, right? And these guys in the religious settings, everybody is in their best behavior. Everybody pretends to be in their best
Yeah.
behavior, right? And that's when you go for like camps, you go for this. This is
Your
where
guard is down.
yeah, and parents say, oh no mind, send her to the camp, all
church,
kids,
right?
and this is what happens in all these religious camps is the chance where your child is the most vulnerable, right? So and you have to remember, when something happens to your child, normally your child is a bit afraid to speak up
this
because they are
one.
threatened or something. And very rarely children speak up, lah. But when they do, always investigate. Always investigate.
And
I'm
of
not saying
course,
believe straight away,
usually,
but investigate.
And usually those kids also don't have the capacity to lie about this thing.
Yeah, sometimes.
They
Yeah.
gain nothing for lying also.
Yeah, true. So sometimes you have to be this thing like don't just think religious setting is all okay lah.
It could be any other thing. It's just that that's the place
I'm
that
just
they-
very
That's
curious.
the-
How do you tell whether someone's a pedophile? Are there like
Okay.
clear signs?
Very good question. Like sometimes with so many criminals and offenders, sometimes they ask, can you profile a person? A little bit can.
Yeah.
But the one group of people which until today I cannot profile are pedophiles.
Whoa.
They are the nicest people. They are extremely friendly. They are the best with kids, right? I cannot profile a pedophile.
Basically, they're chameleons.
They are like the nicest people, right?
Damn, man.
So you have
Like you've
that-
met with murderers and all that. You can see.
That one can profile a little bit like after some time like thieves and all you can profile a little bit. I'm not saying I'm good, but you can profile a little bit, right? There's a big difference between stereotyping and profiling.
Yeah,
lah.
yeah.
Stereotyping is when I walk past your door and you lock your car door. That's stereotyping, right? But profiling is a bit different, right? But pedophiles, so difficult.
That
They're
makes
so
it
difficult.
like doubly difficult.
Yeah, they're the nicest. They're the nicest with kids. So friendly. They're the best parents.
And it could be in any setting actually,
Any
like
setting.
kindergartens,
Kindergarten.
schools, right?
Also, to this point, right? It's also confusing because like I used to have like my school was very good at debate. I don't know whether this is considered pedophile. You tell me whether it's
Okay.
pedophile. But basically, the debate coach was a really good coach. In fact, it was national news when he was caught for some of these sexual abuses. I won't name the name, but those who listening knows, right? So my debate team at that time, not my school debate team, 15, 16 years old, they were coached by this very good coach. And then as part of bonding activities, they will be forced to like strip down.
Oh.
Like naked,
Okay.
things like that.
What the fuck?
So do you consider that some sort of pedophilia?
There's some
or-
level of it lah.
Right,
Maybe
right.
that's how he gets off lah. He sees a guy naked, a boy naked, or maybe a girl
Yes.
naked also, right?
But that's why it's tricky because in this case you can maybe understand it as some sort of power play, maybe, or like, oh no, it's a bonding session. You see each other naked, right? Like, sports teams they always see each other
but
naked all the
still,
time.
It's just their way of justifying what they do. Like I said,
Right.
when it comes to lust, somehow everything is justified, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing lah. When it comes to these guys, they'll do whatever they can lah to make it work lah. Hey, you want to debate lah? What is that? Must see you naked.
Yeah.
That doesn't make my debating any better.
This is like bonding,
Yeah.
But I don't know,
Nonsense lah.
Louis, are you a fan of football? Do you watch football?
Not really.
Okay, never mind. But Louis Van Gaal is like the reverse. He strips down.
Oh, is
to show
it?
people, yeah.
Oh wow, damn bro. That's a reverse
To
play, bro.
Tell people like I have nothing to hide, So
Oh, damn,
everyone
bro.
get to see.
But I think this is also cultural. I feel like Malaysians are very, very terrified of being naked. When I
So
go,
to a slight extent, I think being conservative is a good thing, right?
Yeah.
So when you look at even the idea of grooming, the grooming process takes time. It's not as simple as, hey, come over here, I want to see you naked.
It's
You
an
see,
investment from the past.
it is the investment, correct, right?
It's a football joke. But yeah.
It takes
Takes time.
But you see, like, one, he was your teacher, he spent a lot of time with you, he built that trust. Then the words he used as well with you all are very important. Like the video I put up, right?
Yeah. I'll care.
I'll care for you, I love you. Oh, your parents, don't care about you. Most of the time people say, oh, your parents did this. Don't worry, your parents know what's best for you. It's like, no, your parents don't understand you. This, that. And you as the child or teenager suddenly get that validation from somebody else.
And not your parents
And
also.
not your parents,
because your parents are reverse, right? They are
Yes.
seen as the bad guys now.
Yes, so that's the thing, right? And that's how they get that validation, and that's the jalan masuk. And then it's like, okay, suddenly, okay, never mind, then they all get all touchy-feely with you, and then you also be like, oh, okay, this is just him showing me a bit more love and care, and then suddenly it becomes a bit more, oh man, it's crazy.
This is a side tangent, but it's in accordance to pedophilia. I'm not going to say which university, college, whatever, but it was under a theatre setting. And this professor in particular, he's not from Malaysia, right? He was very, very touchy in a sense, but at that time, I didn't think about it much. A lot of the class, my course mates also didn't think about it much because he's not from here.
Okay.
Right? To be specific, he's from the States.
Okay.
So we always think like, he's participated in many like dramas and all that. So we're like, oh, it's very common to be this physical. Whereas in Malaysia, like you said, we're a bit more conservative.
Yep.
So at that time, I was thinking like, so strange how we think so differently. So for me, you can tell me if I'm wrong. I am more liberal in the sense that I just feel everybody's culture is so different. So I just respect no matter what happens. So that's to my fault. Like if I go to Japan, if they go to the onsen, it's naked. I'm like, fuck it, I also naked. I'm not going to be conservative here, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So I thought that the way he taught the course was very hands-on. Hands-on. So he would grab more, move your arm more, that type of thing. And only years later, I thought he was a brilliant professor, by the way. I got A for the course.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Years later, I found he's a fucking pedophile on the run, bro.
Oh, shit, man.
Yeah, bro. And then, I don't know why, suddenly all the experiences click back. I'm like, wow, this guy actually a lot touchier with a lot of the guys,
Yeah.
And then I was like confirming with my other classmates also, hey, was he like that with you? So yeah, man. Then after that, I checked with another professor that was there, and they were like, actually, at the time, we thought he was a bit too much lah. But
nobody said anything.
Nobody said anything.
Yeah. Why nobody said anything? Because they're like, oh, no mind.
No, because they always do all this borderline stuff where
Yeah.
it could be either or,
Oh, no, but sometimes it's important to call out lah, right? That's what we always say, right? It's important to stand out lah.
Yeah.
If you don't call someone out,
then just say lah.
you have to say it lah, kan? If everybody just keeps quiet just because you're a professor, so what, right? There was a case last time in the hospitals as well, right? The housemen and all, they used to be sexually harassed by the seniors or the real doctors, and the doctors are the one who sign off at the end of the day. What? Because they give the doctors that sort of power. Suddenly there was a case where because the doctor was related to the politicians and all, he gets very touchy-feely with them and all.
Oh no.
But that case came out lah. But what about the others that
did not?
I mean, of course, BFM, there was the whole...
there was that whole thing as well, right? Yeah.
BFM what?
There were one of the radio announcers was said to be a bit touchy with
No, BFM?
Yeah, but they were very they very quickly took action about it, right? But here's one thing I also have to say, right? We are very quick to cite the victim. Mainly if she's female. Mainly if the victim is female, right? We are very quick to cite. We don't actually take the effort to investigate properly first before we
action.
take care. Yeah. So what I always say, of course, certain things are genuine, but there's a lot of it where
they take advantage.
Yeah, they take advantage. The women have cried wolf, So there's a lot of those cases, and I get very upset with those sort of cases because you actually take away
the others.
The others.
Yeah.
You have actually proper victims who are now people are not going to believe because you try to pull something, right?
I never thought of that.
Yeah,
I never thought
there's
of
so
that.
many of that. Like for example, the Me Too movement, when it started amazing, right?
Yeah.
Right? And then suddenly you got people who simply, I was on the train and somebody looked at me. Like, dude, so what?
Yeah.
And then you've got this
The
one.
gym one also.
The gym one, I'm just going to go to that, right?
So ridiculous.
You put a phone on your back pocket. Of course, people are going to see what's the phone. You are going to do a squat. Why are you having a phone, right?
purposely attention.
Yeah.
Or you want to do, like you squat or whatever, then you bend, then the guy is like looking at the phone, like recording me, then looking at the ass, then that's it, kena kantoi.
Yeah, kena kantoi. Well, you only do all that. You come with skimpy outfits.
Yeah, bro.
And then you expect, same lah, with the guys as well. When they go out there, they take out their shirts, you expect people to look.
Yeah.
You don't see the guys complaining, why are you looking at me? Yeah. Right. You decide to...
They complain why no one look at.
Yeah, why no one looking at Right. So that's the thing, right? What I always hate is that when victims, people who are not real victims, claim to be victims, right? It's terrible. You take away the time and effort and also from other victims, from actual victims. It's a terrible thing to do. You have real victims who are so scared to come forward because people won't believe them. And you've got this nonsense of these people who come forward with false claims just because you want their attention.
Yeah, man.
Right? It's crazy.
Actually, at one point, World of Buzz says also was covering too much of this type of shit.
Yeah.
Something like about asking for phone number also, then kena...
And that's the thing, right? I hate it when media doesn't verify information and just releases it.
Just like one statement type of thing.
Yeah, it's like crazy. You only take from one side. I think there's two influencers one time who kena, right? There was a guy, I think he was just walking past or something. I happened to look, right? And they claimed that he harassed them or something like that, right? And there were the effects of it, right? You forget the snowball effect of it, right? His family then going to think, he loses his job, this, then. And at the end, they come up and say, oh, no, we did it, just content, he didn't really do this.
What in the world?
In Malaysia, it happened in Malaysia, right? So it's crazy, right? And
man.
people forget, if anybody does that to me, man, I take in defamation suit for sure, man.
Wow.
Right? I will fight this.
Yeah, they'll say Indian guy shows how to
Indian
rob
guy
a robber.
shows how to rob.
Wow, this snowballs so fast.
Yeah, it does, right? It does, right?
Oh my God. My God, man.
And especially, social media warriors are out there, right? Extremely fast, right? Even when I post this content, I always get it, usual suspects, right? The Indian guy is the one robbing the house. Where's your parang?
That's why you trust,
Yeah, that's why it's coming from the source. No. But I have to say, sometimes I have to say, some guys, when they make this sort of comments, you can see the way they write it.
It's in jest.
It's memang funny lah. It's memang funny. And then you have some people who write it in a way like, this guy just
malice.
racist.
Yeah, true.
Some guys are just
What's to say? Divided by race, united by racism. That's Malaysia.
Speaking about racism a little bit, I have to say, the Filipinos are the funniest racists I've ever met.
Yes,
they are the nicest people. I've done quite a bit of work in the Philippines. They are the nicest people. I always love going back to the Philippines, but they are the funniest group of racist people I've ever met, right? They are not, they have no malice when they're being racist. They're just funny, right? I was at this conference, right? And these are all academicians. So a lot of them are very serious guys, right? And I'm like a practitioner plus academician, so I'm like super chill, right? Filipinos are extremely chill. They can be academicians, they'll be professors, but they're super chill, right? And during the dinner, they had entertainers come, and normally every Filipino can sing, right? So this guy is singing, he's amazing, and he's an amazing entertainer. So he goes to the crowd and he starts talking to people, and then he sees a group of professors from India, right? And he asks, where are you from? And he says, India. And I'm sitting 2 tables away, right? They said, we are from India. And then this guy goes, there's a very famous Indian song in the Philippines. Very famous. And then I also am like, what is it, right? And he asked all the Filipinos, do you all know what song I'm talking about? And everybody goes, yes, in unison, right? Yes, we know. And then the guy starts singing. Do you know what song he sings? 1 little, 2 little, 3 little Indians. I was like, oh my God.
And it sounds good when they sing.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, you caught me off guard.
It's the wrong Indian somehow.
It's a red Indian.
Yeah, exactly.
And he didn't stop there. I'm laughing over there. Like I enjoy these kind of things, right? I'm laughing at that corner. And then he doesn't stop there. And then he turns to another table. And then he asks, where are you all from? Are you all from China? And then they say, no, I'm from Korea. And so, you're Korean. And then he turns back to this Indian group. Are you all Korean barbecue?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Bro.
But that guy was funny. I don't know how those Indian professors took it. I was laughing on the corner. I was like, you did it to me. So
have you been to stand-up comedy shows before?
I have.
Bro, I've seen some where it goes quite bad.
Yeah.
The guy how when they target, when you go to a stand-up comedy show, you got to be really be targeted.
Yes.
You sit front row.
Yep.
You're going to get targeted. Yep. So try to not sit all the way in the back. Just sit in the middle, that type of thing, right? I went for a stand-up comedy show. I was actually doing my 1 minute. My ex-boss told me you have to do 1 minute on stage.
Nice.
Teaches you public speaking. Then I'm like, okay, fuck it, I'll do it.
Nice.
Right? So I do it. Then I sit down. I feel like I didn't do too well. Okay? But it's okay lah. Fuck it. It's part of the experience. There's this white guy, Asian girlfriend. That's it lah. The whole night that guy went at them for 15 minutes.
Oh man.
Because I think
But was it funny or not?
at first, yes. Then quite brutal.
Then you're beating
lah.
the dead horse after that already.
A bit lah. Yeah. That's why now until now I'm like, oh man, if the stand comedians that go table type are like, oh shit.
But you know, I think a lot of this is because of the success of, I think, Russell Peters.
Because
he did it so well, right?
He did it so well,
So everybody said, let's emulate.
Yeah.
But then...
it's an art lah. I guess it's an art lah. Can't do.
Definitely.
And you must know when to pull back, right? Yeah.
I don't know. It's so tough, man.
Yeah.
It's tough. When you're up there, I think you're like the highest currency, right? When you're up on stage, it's not. It's no longer money, you know. It's just laughs, you know.
Yeah, correct.
So you do whatever it takes, you know.
You have to be, but you have to know how to be entertaining lah, kan?
Yeah, and then the nerves hit also lah. It's blinding, you know. The lights
light,
there. So you just, I don't know lah. When I was up there also, I like panic lah. But
I used to love going to these amateur ones. They had the one mic stand and all, right? Yeah, I used to go to
Crack House Comedy
Crack House
lah.
Comedy. I've been to Crack House before it shut down lah. But yeah.
I did it there lah.
You did that? Oh, that's nice.
Oh, bro, I tell you, so stressed at that one. Until now, also I think about it, I'm like fuck lah.
And I think this is a good stereotype. I feel that Indians make the best comedians. Like one of my favorite would be like Hindra Bose.
Hindra Bose, yeah, very good. The guy is
very good.
Yeah, but Hindra Bose, okay, so I've been to a show where he's presenting, where he's done stand-up. I also have gone, he used to have a biryani shop, you know.
What?
Yes,
Yeah, Hindra Bose used to have a biryani shop. In PJ used to be there. Nice, his biryani was actually very nice, you know. He used to call Bose Biryani.
Okay.
Right, so I used to go nice. And when you go, the guy's entertaining also. Like, brother, what can I get you today? Hey, I've got this, you want this? You know, he's like very friendly when he talks, right?
So he does stand comedy and also owns that biryani place.
I don't know if he still owns lah, but back then he had I think this was just during the COVID days, maybe to kill time before he was now he's super famous, kan. He's on movies and all, right. But yeah, but he had that benefit that he knows how to talk to people. He's a bit of an entertainer and he speaks 4 languages.
Yeah, Mandarin. He can speak Mandarin.
Wow.
Yeah, so
damn, man.
So he's quite good. I like. He's quite.
But it's not just
entertaining.
him. It's also all the other, you know, like Brian's friends. You know, that group of Indian comedians. I find them.
I think among all, and I think most people would agree with this as well, that Indians just speak a bit better than
Definitely.
The other, yeah, especially when it comes to on stage. Maybe we have better nerves lah.
No, I think
but that's why they say the best lawyers are the Indians, right?
A lot of my friends are Indians that speak very well English because at the time I mean until today I still don't speak Mandarin Cantonese.
Oh really?
I was in a weird
like
place.
The banana lah.
Yeah. So when I was growing up, all my friends were either Indians or Malays.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, man. So it's just that's why I know a lot of Indians also because very strict upbringing.
Yep.
Parents usually also teachers education background, and that's why most Indians, even if they potek also probably speak damn good English, right? So it's like
generally Indians, I think, pick up language better than everyone else.
Yeah.
You know, because like we don't have a problem with rolling our tongue and all. Like Chinese, even you know, if you speak English, sometimes there's a problem with the tongue rolling.
fly lie. Fly lie is the way.
So Indians generally pick up language a bit faster. That's why it's more common to see an Indian guy speaking Mandarin or any other Chinese dialect than a Chinese guy speaking, a third language lah.
Bro, Chinese people quite. I don't know. I feel like based on my experiences when I go abroad as well, and they're learning like third languages, fourth languages. Even French is very difficult for them. Spanish is very difficult for them. It's because like I think it's so intonation based when it comes to Mandarin. So the moment they start to explore a different avenue of linguistics, it's like they hang already. Yeah. Bro, I want to go back to the organized crime thing a bit, right? So I know that like we can't go too deep, right? But are there things that we should try to avoid while we're here in Malaysia when it comes to, I don't know how to put it this way. You want to distance yourself as much as you can, right?
Yeah.
So what are some of the safe things that we can do in Malaysia so that we're not exactly
Just stay on their toes,
involved? Like
So-
things that we don't know maybe.
Okay, so the one thing about organized crime, like I said, it doesn't affect your daily life. It's a business that's running, right? I would be more concerned about the daily crime that could happen to us. That would be more this thing. Like we talk about snatch theft, we talk about home breaking, muggings, murder, rape. Those are the kind of things that would affect us on a daily basis in comparison to organized crime. Organized crime is all about it's a business that runs, right? It's all about trade. It's about counterfeits, those kind of stuff, right? Like I said, it doesn't create the fear of crime. It's nothing too physical. But what I would say is this, right? If you go to high risk areas, you are going to put yourself in high risk situations. Like
Are
just
you
say-
allowed to say which high risk areas?
No, like just say I give you an example, right? I'm not, when we talk about high risk area, I know all of you thinking Klang ready straight away.
I didn't say Klang, bro.
I actually think like Changkat or
Yeah, bro.
Okay,
That's
so
my
yeah,
head.
places like, right, when you talk about it, just say if you go to a KTV, you know it's a high risk area, right? So because why would you consider it a high risk area? You've got a lot of alcohol, you've got drugs, you've got all these things going on, you've got prostitution going on in any of these spaces which you have normally drugs and alcohol. It's a high risk area. So if you do not want to put yourself in that situation, don't go. I know some people say, oh no, come on, it's a lifestyle, you go there, let's go clubbing, let's go do this. No, but if it's going to be high risk lah. I avoid. It's not like I don't go to pubs, I don't go to clubs. I do, but I go to the ones which are a bit more decent lah.
Souks of the world.
I go to the ones which are not. I don't like going to the ones which have loud music because then I cannot talk.
Oh, bro, that's the same as me, man. Holy shit, man. But I don't like clubs in general.
If people want to go have a drink, okay, I'll keep you company. I don't drink, but I'll keep you company. Yeah, I don't drink, I don't smoke. I've never had a drink.
Never had a drink?
Never had a drink. Never had a drink. Never had a cigarette.
Brother, you don't.
Yeah? I know I don't fit that stereotype.
No. I'm just curious. How old are you? You can tell me.
Can. I'm 38.
38 and never had a drink.
Never had a drink in my life.
That is so solid.
But everyone around me, a lot of my friends do, right? So especially in uni, I was in UUM Kedah. We are 10 minutes away from Thai border.
Yeah.
So you can imagine the amount of alcohol that my friends used to drink because it's cheap. You'll go to the border,
Yeah.
they'll buy alcohol and come back, right? So surrounded. But the good thing I would have to say is my friends never forced me to drink. I was like, hey, look, I don't drink. No problem. Can you sit down with us? Yes, you can. Yes, I can. Sit down. We'll buy Coke for you. No problem. You don't have to have alcohol.
Wow.
I was never with a group of people that forced me to drink. Sometimes when I meet new people, they say, hey, have a drink. My friends usually step in and say, look, the guy doesn't drink. Don't
Right.
force him. So it's important to have that kind of friends lah.
Wow.
Right? So, So if you're in a place where it gets rowdy, it's a rowdy area, you're bound to get into some sort of trouble lah, right? Or sometimes wrong place, wrong time.
Would you say a lot of the organized crime has distanced themselves from the public a lot because they know that any publicity is bad publicity
Yes,
for
of
them? That's why.
I'll give you a very good example. You go and ask any Japanese, are you all scared of the Yakuza? They'll say no, because it doesn't affect their daily life.
Actually,
The Yakuza is there, right? So this is what, and please, I'm going to guess you're going to.
I went to an onsen lah, and then they don't like it lah. It's like got tattoos. You go to the gym also, they don't like it lah. It's a fear lah,
It's
but
a fear
it's
lah.
an unsaid fear.
Unsaid fear, but the Yakuza doesn't come down and simply extort money from people. It's a very business thing, right? So just say, I'm a business owner, I have a problem with you, you're a business owner. We cannot settle it. I call the Yakuza to come and settle it for our behalf. They take a certain percentage from this, right?
Oh.
Right. So that was a documentary I watched on the Yakuza, right? It doesn't affect a day-to-day person. But like you said, the tattoo thing, maybe your tattoos are
I
Yakuza.
just want to say this.
Yep.
I've never seen like robbery, theft, except for that snatch theft one, In Kyoto in 2018, I was walking with my friends. My first trip with all my friends. And they were like, bro, I'm damn scared of Yakuza, bro. And I'm like, dude, don't worry. I've never seen Yakuza ever. I come here so many times already.
Okay.
So happened. That fucking day, because in Kyoto it's quite cramped,
Okay.
I'm walking by, and I'm not shitting on Kyoto. I'm just saying, that's what I observed.
Okay.
It's a family mart there, corner lot. An SUV drives and parks right in front of it.
Okay.
Black SUV, large SUV.
Okay.
The moment the
Tinted
SUV parks,
glass, I'm guessing.
Huh?
Tinted glass.
of course, tinted glass. 3 guys in suits come out. Okay? 3 guys come out. They go inside the family mart. They tell everybody to exit the family mart.
Okay.
Okay? Everybody exits the family mart, but they wait outside with their things. They haven't paid for it. So they wait outside.
So decent, They're not running away with it.
Correct.
Japanese.
Yeah. Then one guy, man bun, goatee, damn tall,
Yeah.
North Face jacket, comes out, leaves the door of the SUV open, walks inside, takes 1 rice ball, goes back in the car. The 3 guys in suit go back, the car just drives off.
Okay.
That one is some real shit, bro.
That one really show off power lah.
Bro, all the tourists there, they was just standing there, and he didn't even bat at. He didn't even care that they were looking at him. I think this guy is like son of big time whatever.
Yep.
And he just went in, took 1 rice ball, came in the car. Just it's basically his fridge lah. The family mart is his fridge. Just took it and chow.
But you see, exactly with that point, right? They didn't hurt anyone. They didn't like beat people. Hey, get out of here now. Like, hey, everybody go out.
It's
Everybody
just-
listen lah. Right? Whereas here, when we see sometimes people when they fight in the restaurants and all, They go in, they want to rob restaurant, they start suddenly just,
Ransacking.
they don't tell people, hey, all of y'all with family and kids and all, please leave. I need to slash this guy. They don't say that, right? They just go, they start slashing, and then, people with children and all. There was this case I saw in Sabah, right? This guy just went into this restaurant and started slashing. There was a child on the baby seat right next to the guy, The mother quickly grabs the child and goes off. And then the shop owner and all fight back and all. But it's crazy. Children are there, right?
Wow.
So that's the difference, right? When you talk about... So that's the thing. When we talk about organized crime, they usually don't disturb day-to-day people, right? They are there, they do their business. Anything also is more of a financial thing.
I see.
But I have a theory about like the change. You correct me if I'm wrong about this observation. So like if you wind back like 40, 50 years ago, crime was a lot more violent, right? I bet the Yakuza wars and mafia triads or whatever, right, was more prevalent because I think back in the day, like jobs were hard to come by. People were not educated.
Okay.
And so tying back to the whole communal feeling, plus you don't have a job, therefore you see a lot of this violence. What we see is that one thing I noticed for a lot of people in organized crime like this micro frenzy, they would never recommend their children
to go into crime.
go into where they are.
Yep.
So logically it means, right, that continuity is actually quite difficult because these top like mob bosses don't want their kids to be part of it or in a reduced capacity like what you described, right, where it's just business.
Yep.
So over time, as like society become wealthier, this violent element of organized crime start to reduce because they know the risk involved in the life. Plus, it's more profitable to just
have less account, I guess.
make money. That's why, like even for mob bosses, right, in the US, they say you can do anything you want. No drugs, because once you get into drugs, then you create a lot of mess. But whereas when you see what I believe to be the deadliest organized crime groups in the world, which are the cartels, they get involved in drugs, right? And you see the brutality.
Breaking Bad.
I think I don't know if you agree. I think the cartels are like up there. I think they're number
when
one.
you see like even in all these countries where the cartels are fighting with the police, it's crazy.
Yeah, man.
Right? And you see the country suffers, right? Yeah. So
they would like parade like the body parts of police when
wow.
to show their influence. Like
the Narcos and all is a good movie lah. It's a good example actually.
Like when you look at how they are, I feel like they are different level because the code, like even if there's like gang wars, there's usually like some sort of code and common understanding of how we go.
Like no family.
No family, or maybe we don't involve like the wider town.
wider
Like,
town,
right, we just settle everything, hack each other. That's it. But there is a different level.
I didn't watch Narcos. I watched like first episode. Like, wow, this is brutal, man. Smuggling shit, all that. Like, wow, I cannot.
Very smart also. But that's how he became the guy lah, the big guy lah kan.
Oh my lord lah. So what you're saying is actually we don't really need to be that worried about it lah, right? But
it's something for the authorities to handle lah. It's nothing that you and me as individuals should be worried about.
I actually think as time passes, they will slowly, everything they do will be legitimized to be a large way. They'll integrate into, because the thing is, to be fair, right? A lot of people actually in the past wanted the organized crime to be part because they don't trust the authorities and institutions weren't strong. So these organized crime criminals came in to provide the protection. So people say, "Oh, protection money is extortion." Well, what's the difference between that and say
Security
what you
guard.
pay for a security guard or police, right?
Yeah.
It's just they just do it in a more rough way. That's about it, right? And the jobs that organized crime provide to a lot of people who are uneducated, unemployed, unemployable, right? Cannot be hired.
Keep them off. Yeah.
So, but then as time passes, people become more educated. People go for white collar jobs. Then, in a way, organized crime can retire peacefully or like go into the sunset because now their function is now
it's already
legit lah, in some way legit, right?
I wouldn't say they're redundant, but they've done the job. That's why like in Malaysia we had all the Gihin, Haisan, and all these gang wars. Because we came over China, they're all poor, no jobs.
No choice lah. They don't say no choice lah, but they did what they wanted to do lah, to earn money, right? To earn a living, right? Interestingly, you said about the police and all, right? See, the biggest problem why, one of the things we talk about a lot is police corruption, right? And the reason why that happens is simple, because police are underpaid in the country.
Yeah.
Right? You know, a police officer, I remember last time one of the officers said, the minute you become a police officer, you're under the B40 category.
Yeah.
Wow.
Imagine you are there. Even Bomba, I didn't know how little Bomba was being paid until I sent out with Bomba officers.
How much, roughly?
It's your B40 lah, kan? Imagine you are there to save, you put
Lives.
your life on the line to save someone's life, and you're paid pittance. Right? Yeah, why you think you then get police officers who take 20 ringgit here, 30 ringgit here? Because they also have they also have families to feed. They also have children who want to go to school, who need to go to school. They also have bills to pay.
Yeah.
And you give them this thing. Have you all been to a police barracks before?
I have never.
Oh,
But I've
what-
seen it
Only seen
across.
outside lah. We seen
When
outside.
I was this was maybe when I was in my school, one day one of my friends' dad was a police officer, so we went to their house. Man, it was worse than PPR flat.
Wow.
Right.
What PPR flat?
Yeah, so I was like, oh my god, So that's the thing, right? You put them in those kind of conditions, and then you expect them to work, 24-hour shifts. Cannot lah. If you ask me, a few people should be paid better in Malaysia, right? Teachers should be paid better.
Definitely teachers.
Police officers should be paid better.
Bomba.
Bomba should be paid better. Army officers should be paid better. These are the guys who basically put their life on the line to take care of the welfare of the country.
And they are still so nice.
Yeah.
They are still so nice.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't even know, man. If
Then
for
that
me,
day we
I would
were
have lost
stopped.
my shit, bro.
Yeah, the day we were stopped by police, right?
Yeah, bro. We were just outside. We just finished the Man United game 3 a.m. 5 a.m. Sorry.
Okay.
Police came by. They're like, what are you doing here? Like, watching football game. Siapa? Man United. Then they said, kalah. Masih gua lah. Then ciao. Bro. Damn what. But I feel right, for them to do such noble shit
Yeah.
and to get shit on
Yeah.
and be nice. Bro,
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, dude, you
It's
are.
not easy. I know during the COVID season, everybody's like, oh, police officers are the best and all police officers. And then you have these bad apples that just mess everything up for everyone. Lah.
Yeah.
Right? You see, sometimes police officers do their job, right? And you see, I get stopped by the police very often, right? Because I fit a certain profile. Right? But I never get upset by it. When they pull me over, I was like, oh, it's fine, you're doing your job. I know I fit a certain profile.
I literally just said that yesterday too, man. Yeah, I feel good.
You're hanging out at 3-4 in the morning,
I would be
In the
more
lorong
pissed.
here.
Yeah.
In the lorong here.
Yeah, in the lorong here, you're with tattoos and all. Of course, you look suspicious,
Yeah,
right?
I would be pissed
Man bun.
if they just drove away.
Yeah.
I'll be like, dude, then you all don't check one.
Yeah, So when they check, but some people get upset. Why you checking me? Straight away start arguing. Kenapa you tengok check
Defensive,
saya? Why you being defensive? You did nothing wrong, what?
Yeah.
So I get checked all the time. They stop. Can I have a look at it? I see, then ask, where are you going? I say, I just came from here. I'm going here. Okay, so have a nice day. Take care.
Yeah, most of the time,
Yeah.
they're damn good one.
One of them, they're damn good. Of course, you got bad apples lah. Suddenly you will start. Oh no, you give me money for something. Why? I didn't do anything wrong. What?
Yeah.
Right? So you have those bad apples that just spoil it for everyone.
Yo, bro.
But
I didn't know I because we spoke to Hannah Yo before, and she was saying how the police also gets very, very bad treatment. I think their funding per year is like less than 100 or something like
Yeah, it's
that.
bad.
Even schools also is very bad because I worked with a client for a CSR event, and the Guru Besar was telling me also, you know how much we get paid or not? Then I was like, I don't know, maybe like 20K. He's like, bro, 20K, you think what? Then I'm like, yeah, man, you have to pay for everything, right? All this, upkeep, all that. He's like, semua ni is donation tau from parents. I'm like, no way. Filtered water is donated,
Wow.
Bruh, no water in school,
Wow.
And this is not remote. This is Klang Valley.
Klang Valley, yeah.
So I was like,
Crazy, yeah.
if the Koei machine is sponsored,
Yeah.
then how much you all get paid lah? He's like, 500 for 5 years. I'm like, bro,
Wow.
bro, 100 ringgit a year is what? What you gonna do? You can't even paint a wall, bro. 100 ringgit.
Why you think that kid had to complain to PMX to go and get the toilets refurbished?
Bro, mad, man. Government school,
Yeah, memang lah.
Wild.
When I think back about my government school, so my toilets were dirty, right? But I was in a boys' school lah, so
Bro.
we didn't mind too much lah.
Bro.
But I'm thinking if I also had, that time my time Mahathir had passed by and said, can you please refurbish my school? And he said yes, would have been good lah.
Bro, my toilet in my high school was so bad. It was next to a day one, And I was sitting at the very end of the other side of the day one, and you can smell the toilet, bro.
Shit.
That's how bad, And I remember they tried to replace the doors. Less than 2 hours, the doors are torn off. Mirrors, less than 15 minutes, the mirrors pecah.
Yeah, I still remember the scene is always when guys would go fix our hair. And all that.
Yeah.
So because the mirrors were broken, so we already
That small.
Yeah, bro. It's so ridiculous, man.
Yeah, but I think I read somewhere also 10 years ago already, like Taiwanese police officers are paid like 6,000 ringgit equivalent in their country.
Wow.
No police people are being paid that.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
So then that's why so I think it adds so much nuance to the whole conversation about corruption because like like what Singapore is doing for their politicians, because they are the highest paid politicians in the world, 1 million Sing, right? For the MPs.
Wow.
So their whole Lee Kuan Yew, the founder, argument is that you don't pay them that, they are going into private sector. Then you're gonna get
A lack of
low quality people in. That's where
$1 million a year or $1 million
dollars.
a million?
A year.
Oh, okay.
A year,
Wow.
100 over 1,000.
Wow. A lot. Huh?
Wow.
But that's where the phrase, I think you pay peanuts, get monkeys.
Yeah lah, yeah
He
lah.
was the one that like made it popular.
Yeah lah,
because
true
of this.
lah. But you see, okay, at least they get $100 or $1,000 a month. At least it's okay lah. Then if not, better than finding 100 million in somebody's cabinet. That's a different story lah.
man.
So that's why it makes sense, like why. Like I understand now. I again, you cannot justify corruption, but you understand you're making it hard for them.
Yeah.
To reject.
Cost of living is going up every year, right?
Yeah,
As a
exactly.
government official, how much do you get paid increment? Right? And the other thing is this, right? When you look at police officers, right? Sometimes they work 24-hour shifts. They don't get paid OT. Right? Of course, they say, God, but the claim takes forever to come back.
Yeah, by
right?
then.
And then
it's
sometimes
like-
if I have to do a case, I have to work off extra hours and all. I don't get paid. And then here's the thing, right? I think people don't understand as well, right? Sometimes when a police officer is handling your case, memang he's a bit desensitized. Because he's seen crime every
So
day.
much.
Right? So you
Yeah.
don't expect him to react the same way you are reacting.
Yeah.
Oh, you kena rompak. Tadi, memang selalu berlaku. You know, the guy will say like, and you are like, wow, if selalu berlaku, why you not doing something about it? You kind of takkan duduk dia. So you have to understand, these guys see day in, day out. Right? You're a bit desensitized to crime.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes their humor also will be a bit dark. That's why you see them. It will be. You see them in the crime scene. The fellas will be making jokes over there, and you like, wow, these guys. You see, no
Playing a
empathy,
fool.
making jokes in the crime scene. Dude, these guys see it every day, lah.
Yeah, man.
Same lah. When you go for funerals, you make jokes also, right? Right. So you laugh. You see people laughing at funerals and whatnot. Same thing, lah. Right.
Oh man. But I think I don't know when it will come for the day that they get paid what they deserve.
Oh,
lah.
I hope sooner than later, lah.
When I was a kid, actually, right, I wanted to be a fireman,
Oh.
Yeah, my dad was like, you're not gonna earn money. Lah.
Yeah.
Then I was like, okay, I'll be a doctor. Lah.
Yeah.
Then I like, too dumb to be a doctor. Lah. Fucking like, cannot be a doctor. Lah. Yeah, but I recall that so vividly because this was like 30 years ago. And when I asked, I'm like, wow, why do they get paid so low? Then my dad's like, it's just the way it is, man.
Yeah. You know, I didn't know that Bomba not only does, that's why they call it Bomba dan Penyelamat, right? They also do a lot of rescue missions, right? And somebody told me once they had to dive under to rescue someone. Something like died already, like the person under, but they had to dive to get something. And when the person dived in, because it was a Kawasan Paya a bit, the hose got tangled up. And the Bomba official just passed away because no air was coming. And they didn't know that no air was going through. Until some part they realized something is wrong, The guy's not signaling back in time or something like that. And then when another person went in, could see the thing was tangled up. They said, oh man. And these guys paid pittance, right? So that's the very sad thing about this.
What the hell, man?
Yeah, man.
Actually, you see, you call them and then you expect them to solve a problem that is sometimes not. A corporate problem is always a foreseeable problem.
Yeah.
In a way that it's happened before in some sense, like, oh, you forgot to put in this thing and whatever. But how intangible and how like so many variables can happen in life, especially like, for example, you see a snake. How do you deal with the snake? Where's the snake?
Yeah.
What time is this? What
type
time
of
is snake? Yeah, what type of snake?
Yeah.
Is it dark? Is it bright? Is it longkang? Is it out there? And like when you call them, you just like solve my problem. You just think it's such a binary thing.
Yeah.
But the way they handle it, sometimes it's like, no, you have to do this. But the impatience of so many people is what kind of
And they
makes
think,
them feel like shit,
I call Bomba, why not coming immediately? I calling police, why not coming immediately? Dude, you're not the only case, man.
Yeah,
Right?
and
We have
it's
so many-
external factors.
Yeah. And we've got so many other petrol cars, we've got so many other cases going on, limited
currently.
petrol cars, so you've got all the issues lah.
Yeah, man. I remember it was Chinese New Year one time, and I came back late, and then I saw my neighbor's car was on, and then my other neighbor was like, "Bro, that guy's car has been on the whole day."
Oh.
And I was like, "On the whole day?" He said, "Yeah, I think he started the car. I forgot to turn it off, and then he went back home, bro. Balik kampung." I was like, "No
Oh my
way!
God.
He left the car on the whole day."
Shit.
So I called 999. The guy came by. Police came by. Then because they have a screening thing that knows who stays in the house.
Yeah.
It's based on the IC. Then he's like, the 3 people are not in. Do you know the contact number? I'm like, no. If I know, I would have called them. Right? Then they're like, oh shit, how? So fireworks was happening the whole night because it's Chinese New Year. And the you can see the police is so frustrated. He was like, I just want to solve this problem, right? Then he's like, please stop fireworks just for 5 minutes. You know? And the Chinese people are like, fuck it, more fireworks, man. Then I'm like, oh my God, lah, dude. I also don't want the car. It's going to explode the whole day, you know.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But the guy just left the house. So the car was on the whole time. Then my friend was like, going back to security, the guy was like, fuck it, I just panjat the house. So my friend just came over and turned off the car, bro. Yeah, bro, I tell you, the shit that they go through day to day.
Yeah.
I swear, man.
Imagine the frustration. Like, can you just stop fireworks for 5 minutes?
Cannot.
Frustration.
Yeah, and then they're going to think like, fuck lah, it's going to be a racial issue lah.
Yeah.
They're going to think like, just because I'm Malay, and then I tell Chinese people stop fireworks.
Yep.
That's it lah.
Racist thing lah. People always bring race into things which are not even necessary lah.
Bro, I was like, bang, I'm so sorry, man. On behalf of, I don't even like fireworks, but I don't know why I'm sorry, man. Shit lah, dude. Okay.
Second-hand shame.
Yeah. Brother, actually, I have a meeting to attend to. My mom just asked for a meeting. So I might need to stop the pod. You want to ask any more
No,
questions
I'm good. I've asked.
Don't worry, we can always have another session.
Yeah, bro. I feel like
we've still got so many things to talk about.
Finally, I know how to rob a house.
Finally, no.
I want to sort of end the podcast with some kind of like pro tips. Maybe you can give me like 3 pro tips on how to live a more safe life, maybe whether it's at home, whether it's on the street, whether it's a day to day. Do you have any 3 top tips that you abide by day to day?
Okay, one is that I think using your phone on when you're walking and all is very dangerous, right? Because your attention is taken away. So that's one. 2 is that what's this? If you're living in a neighborhood and you cannot rear a dog, maybe, right? Maybe you're Muslim, you don't want to touch a dog. Very simple. Don't call Bandaraya to catch the stray dogs in your neighborhood. Feed the stray dogs in your neighborhood. They will come and take care of your house.
Oh, that's genius. That's genius. Oh my God.
So feed the dogs in front of your house. Then at least you got free security over there. And maybe the third one is, the reality is there's no 100% way of keeping yourself safe. So maybe a bit of prayer will help lah.
Prayer.
I think it's good advice, man. Sometimes it is what it is.
It is what it is lah. Right?
Oh my God. If they were in a threatening situation and all that, basically you just pray for your safety only lah. That's all you can do.
Yeah, pray for your safety lah. Right. And maybe another thing just very quickly is, a lot of us take safety and security for granted, right? How many of us actually know what is the contact number of the police? Right.
Isn't it just 999?
Yeah, some people say 112. It's not, right?
112? Wait, where did you get the idea?
Yeah, or some people think it's 911. Right?
They watch too much.
They watch too much movies, right? So, 999...
what is Bomba? I don't know Bomba.
Say actually call 999, they can connect. It's like the hotline for
everything,
Bomba, for all emergency services lah.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah,
bro,
so maybe that'll be that.
112, where did they get that from, bro?
Actually, those days, when this shows that you all are quite young. Before it became 999. When you call through the mobile phone, if you dial 999, it doesn't go through the...
No way.
Those days, yes, when mobile phones first came out. So it was 112 back then. Yeah.
Why is there no
This was your
safety?
3310 days lah. I don't know whether you all know what the Nokia days.
I know, but I didn't know it was 112.
It was 112 back then, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Then because of that problem, people didn't know. So that's why they forced them to change it to 999.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
The fuck? There's a lot of communication problem.
Yeah, it was major communication problem, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I also feel, just before I end this podcast, is there like a website that people can go to or a resource that they can go? Maybe it's your Instagram page or whether it's anything like that, where you can sort of like have a reference of emergency contacts or emergency what to do's, what not to do's, that type of thing. Is there like any...
Like a cheat sheet like that?
Yeah, like a cheat sheet. I always feel like look, I'm not saying the government does a shit job.
Yeah.
I'm saying they can do a better job with easy implementation of things. For example, fixing roads. Why not just do a social media channel where every time you fix a road, you just upload road has been fixed. Yeah. Wouldn't that be great? People be like, fuck man, my road is fixed, man. The type of thing, or school has been done up. Or like Bomber here has been paid more because they did this. Some shit like that. It's like good news, So if it's just publicize that shit, then people are like, government's doing good. But there's no like law, or there's no like rule book, or there's not like steps that's like to prihatin,
If there is, I'm not sure. So maybe there are, but I'm not familiar. Always I just say call 999. It's probably the fastest way you're going to get help lah.
Okay.
And the easiest number to remember as well lah.
Yeah. If anybody in the comment section or who's listening to this, viewing this, if you know this website, can you just like comment and then I'll pin it and then I'll put it in the description.
Yeah, please.
So you win.
I also would like to know. Thank you.
Yeah, pin comment of the video as well. So they will be helpful. I really want to have this conversation and extended.
Yep.
I'm just so sorry. Today is just like last minute. I got a 9 a.m. meeting tomorrow. That's why I need to do this 2
No
p.m.
worries,
meeting
no
today.
worries.
Right? But
Yep.
I thank you so much.
No, thank you guys for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Bro, you have fun?
I had fun. It's actually very, very engaging. I actually enjoyed myself.
Thanks,
So I'm
man.
looking forward to the next one.
For sure, bro. For sure, bro. I love this conversation. I learned
you.
so much from you. And I also feel at the same time, not gonna lie, I feel very validated that all my decisions.
Yes.
It's like,
Very smart.
I'm like, thank God. Instead, like, I think whatever. But thank you so much. Give me all your links.
Yep.
I'll put it in the description. Please follow him. He'll save your life. Or if nothing happens to you, then that's great. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
nothing
And I
happens, you
think
do better.
corporations also get you to train their...
Yeah.
No, normally that's mainly our bread
That's
and
your bread
butter.
and butter.
That's our bread
Okay.
and
Oh, bro,
butter.
how big is your team?
5 of us only.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. A lot of guys do a lot of things behind the scenes.
Sweet,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Sweet. Thank you so much for coming on the
Thank you,
podcast,
man.
brother.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Yep.
Peace.